Hi, I'm Sean Clark. Welcome to Horror's Hallowed Grounds.
Hey guys, what's up? I am here tonight with a very special guest, and I'm sure if you're seeing him right now, you know who he is, but the one, the only Sean Clark.
Hey, what's up? I was like, does somebody actually cool come up behind me? Sneak up behind me?
No, what's crazier is me having somebody actually cool on my channel. Don't get any offense to
the
anybody.
Bar is low. The bar is low on your channel, apparently.
No. But yeah, guys, if you are Halloween fans, if you're horror fans, if you've been to major horror conventions, you know this guy. This is Sean Clark. He's done a whole host of things throughout his career. His name is synonymous with horror. And so I am super thrilled to have him on. I got a couple questions I want to ask him tonight, and I just want to get a feel for what he's up to and his life. So how are you doing, Sean?
I am just dandy. Busy. I've been super busy. I've been super busy the past 2 weeks. It's been it's getting crazy. Like the convention things are starting to roll out again, and my phone is blowing up. And I tried to sneak in an auction Sunday night, which I always regret immediately because it's so much work. Not only was it a 4-hour live thing I was doing, but then having to package everything and calculate shipping for everybody and getting everybody to pay you and take it to the post office. And what a nightmare. Plus, I auctioned off a bunch of rare snow globes and really delicate Haunted Mansion related items that I had to pack so crazily careful, double box. And it just took so long. I have spent just 2 days of just packing nightmares. Yesterday I was in LA all day, which is why I had to postpone with you. But as soon as I got home, I was back to packing and packaging, and it looks like a UPS store in my house right now. I haven't gone. I'm as soon as we're done, I'm running to the post office to drop off the first batch.
All right, cool. Well, I won't keep you too long then. Dude, I know your time's valuable.
It's not that valuable, man. I like doing these things. People that have seen me know that I don't seem to have a problem talking. I'm a bit of a chatterbox, so I enjoy doing these things. So I'm the only time I've ever done one of these. It's funny is. I should be a little more selective with the things I say yes to. I just tend to always kind of have the attitude if anybody wants, I'm just flattered anybody gives a shit about me. So I say yes to about everything without ever doing any research. I actually looked at your channel, but there was one. Will remain nameless. I don't even remember the name of it, to be honest with you, but I did it. And then, literally probably 20 minutes before I was starting, I said, I should probably just see what this is all about. And I looked up the channel and he had 12 followers and I'm watching this guy and I'm like, oh my God, he had zero interviewing skills. And it was like watching a candle burn, it was just slow. And it was one of the most brutal, hour of my life, or 2 hours. It felt like 4 hours, but anyway.
So you did it?
I did it. No, I'm a trooper, man. But yeah. I was just like, holy crap, what did I get myself into? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my first question for you, what you were just talking about, and that is conventions. Obviously, we know with COVID for the past year or so, everything has been pretty much not happening. So where are we at with that? And what's the outlook like for the near future?
Well, as you all know, I solved it. COVID is gone. I took care of it. You're welcome.
Good job, Sean.
And well, I mean, where it's at is, things are starting to open up. Certain states have harder restrictions than others. New Jersey's tough. California's tough. New York is tough. Excuse me. But I mean, there's a lot of states that are, Texas and Florida is the wild, wild west, man. They were doing what they wanted to do during the pandemic, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
So conventions are starting to roll out in certain areas, and I've had a couple clients at a few, and I haven't been to one yet. My first one I'll be at is in 3 weeks. I'll be at Pensacon in Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you'll see the free for all, firsthand.
Yeah, I'm jumping right in, but I'm fully vaccinated, and I'll have my 2 weeks since I get my second shot this Friday. So
I get mine Monday. So hell yeah.
I'm Team Pfizer.
Team Pfizer too. Yes.
All right. So it's good to know that if that does kill us, if the Pfizer one kills us, it's good to know you're going to go with me.
Yeah. You won't be alone.
Yeah. That's what I told my girlfriend, is because she's actually in New York right now visiting her family, and she's getting the shot while she's there because she's still legally a New York resident.
Yeah.
And even though she's been living here for like 4 years, but so I think she gets her second shot like Monday. And I said, which one are you getting? And I said, make sure you're getting Pfizer, because I don't want one of us to die. If we're going to die, we better die together.
Yes. Well, is she getting Pfizer?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
All right. Well, then cool. So then the three of us would go. So yeah, you're not alone, man. The other people will be going down with you. So
cool. Well, that makes me happy to know that we'll all die together.
Yes. But that's really cool about the conventions. I don't know if you remember, a couple years ago, I messaged you on Facebook about 40 Years of Terror. And because I was like, if there's going to be a guy that's going to know, it's going to be Sean. And you told me, yes, it is happening. We're still working on getting it all set up, but it's going to be happening. Like, that's the plan. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to South Pass. I'm going to finally do it. And guess what? I didn't do it. But last year, I know. Last year, I went to South Pass, and I got to see all the filming locations and stuff. But I wanted to ask you, when it comes to conventions, out of all of the Halloween ones, 25, 30, 35, and 40, what was your favorite one to organize? What was the most enjoyable one to be a part of? And is it something you'd want to do again?
My favorite one, hands down, was the 30th, because the 25th was a learning experience. I had two partners in that, had a falling out with both of them, ended up reconciling with one, and he became a good friend, and he actually passed away this past year. His name was Paul Swearingen. The third party, a guy named Anthony Massey, we still hate each other's guts. So anyway, he and I ended up having to, I didn't technically sue him, but I had to, I put an injunction on the 25 Years of Terror project because they tried to cut me out of it. That was something that was, we started filming it at the convention, and the idea was to make a documentary on Halloween. And long story short, apparently he didn't like working with me, or, I've since found he's a bit of a control freak. I admittedly am myself, so I don't really frown upon that. But he tried to cut me out, which he legally didn't have the right to do. I had to put an injunction on the project. They settled. Hence, I was involved. But part of that deal was I didn't get credit. I worked on it. I did a ton of shit on it. I got paid. I still get residuals. But I didn't get credit, which at the time I didn't give a shit about. At the time, credit didn't mean anything to me. In retrospect, I wish I would have fought for credit, but everybody knows I worked on it. It's not a big deal. But anyway, so when I decided to do the 30th, I decided to do it on my own, and I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it. All the things I thought were wrong with the 25th. This was my baby. And I put so much time and work into the 30th, and it just went so great. The 30th was great. That was my favorite one. The 35th was a little bittersweet because I was now super busy in what I do these days, had no interest in doing the 35th. I let someone else take the reins. Somebody, I don't want to get into who it was and everything. And so, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but this guy was working at Trancas. He was like, hey, well, let's do the 35th. And I'm like, dude, I don't got time for that. I represent all these Halloween people. Obviously I'll be involved because I'm going to have to bring like 50 clients to it, but I'll help you out. I'll introduce you to the people at the convention center, tell you what I did, basically give you the blueprint. And so I did that. Even went to the convention center with him, showed him around, introduced him to the people, and he ran with it. They started promoting it like crazy. And it apparently he bit off way more than he could chew. And he literally resigned from Trancas and walked from the whole thing, like about 3 months before the show. Oh, and yeah. So Malik Akkad calls me in a panic and says, Sean, I need your help. And it's kind of like that Godfather 3 thing. They pulled me back in. And that's pretty much what happened. So the 35th, although so many fans told me they thought the 35th was even better than the 30th, to me, I felt like it was hanging by a thread the whole time. I mean, it was like, it was so thrown together that I can't believe it happened. All right. Yep. The 40th, again, I didn't have time, didn't want to. So I put Horror Hound, I introduced Horror Hound to Malik and said, hey, Horror Hound, they were the ones that did the Jamie Lee Curtis event. Yeah. If there's any chance in hell, she'll show up. She'll do it because she knows they know how to run a show and she loves them. That was one of the ideas there. But just also they're my friends and they put on a great show, and why don't you guys team up? And I thought that would let me be able to back away, but I still was really, really, really involved. And I have to say the 40th, the crazy thing, it was the one I was technically the least involved with. I got no money from the door. I made no money off tickets, with the exception of the tours I did. That was my thing. It was the most stressful of all of them. I mean, if there was ever a time in my life I thought I was going to break and have maybe a fucking heart attack or a stroke or something, it was that weekend. That weekend, I was on serious edge. So I know your next question is going to go, well,
what about 45, Sean?
Yeah.
If you don't do it, do you think they will do it?
I don't know. I don't think Horror Hound will. I don't think here was the Horror Hound. Nathan, much like me, control freak, wants to do things his way. I don't think he was ever as frustrated as he was putting on the 40th, because he couldn't make a single move without a stamp of approval from Trancas. And it's not that Malik and Ryan Freeman are difficult. It's just hard to pin these guys down to get, to get answers. You got to go through a chain of, it seems like, and it was like, and believe me, I dealt with it too, because I dealt with them before too. And it's like, oh, hey, I want to do this. I'm going to do this flyer. And it's like, well, let's see the image. We just send it to our team. We're going to have to approve it. Can you move that logo up a little bit? And, and the leaves look a little too dark in here and it's taking away from Michael. And like, bro, can I just fucking make a flyer? I mean, it's their brand. So I understand them being protective. I absolutely understand. But it's going through that it's tough. So who knows? I don't know if that if that will team up will happen again, but I can pretty much assure you somehow, some way I'll end up having to do it. I just know it.
Well, if that doesn't happen, I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that there will be a 50. I mean, you don't miss the 50th. I would think that even if there isn't a 45, I'm sure, and hopefully by then your life has calmed down a little bit to where you feel like you could put as much time as you wanted into it. Because I know I've heard you talk about it at nauseum about you're a Halloween fan. You love to do these things. I'm sure you do, but that doesn't mean you don't get burnt out and get stressed out and feel like you have too much on your plate. So hopefully by the time 50 comes around, you're at a place where you're like, yes, I can give this the attention it deserves because I want to do it, but two, I want to do it for the fans because as I told you before, your name is synonymous with Halloween. Like and you, whether you agree or not, I think that when I think of you, I think of Halloween. I remember hearing you talk about I think it was 94, that you went to the Myers house, the lot the Myers house was at, or maybe it was right after that, they moved it. You took one of the stepping stones,
it's in my backyard.
Yeah. And you have the cutting board from the Elrod house. And I mean, you're just like, I know you're a horror guy first, but I see you as a Halloween guy. Like you're the aficionado of the franchise.
Believe me, I know I am the Halloween guy. I embrace that. There's some people that I think, what's the right word? Have issue with. I think there's people like for example Tony Moran, who I think he looks at me, and he's straight up said this. He said this when he went on a rant about me like 6 months ago or whenever it was, that he had it up for like a week and he took it down. But in that, because enough people sent it to me, in that he said, he said something like, you think you're on our level. You think you're one of us, because, he's such a big shot. But, he made that comment and I know it fucking drives him crazy that any fame I have, what little it might be, is because of his movie. It's kind of like, let me take the quote of Tyler Mane wouldn't be who he is if it wasn't for Tony Moran. He feels the same way about me. Who are you?
That's hilarious because as I've said, people have said before, since all this shit really broke and whatever, but Tony, you wouldn't know Tony Moran unless you were a diehard Halloween fan. Yeah. And there's even some diehard Halloween fans that are like, well, which one was he in? He's talking to the guy that got Jamie Lee Curtis to do a horror convention, an appearance at a horror convention. That never happens. Like you engineered that. Like clearly you're a big part of the franchise, and we look at you that way. And it's like I can't turn on half of the DVD, the Blu-ray special features without seeing your face on it. It's like, and I love it because
I'm like herpes. I just don't go away. I'm the Halloween herpes.
Yeah, that's trademark now, guys. Don't steal that.
I do own HalloweenHerpes.com.
Oh, okay.
Just so you all know that.
When I went to South Pass, I was like watching Horror Solid Grounds on my phone to make sure I was at the right spot because I know your shit. You don't go to these places flying blind. It's like, this is the exact spot where this dude sneezed, So I mean, it was
not always. I've made mistakes. I mean, I've made mistakes. I mean, I do as much research as I possibly can. But things haunt me. Like I was trying to find the beach from The Howling, you know, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't match it up to anything. And so what happened to you?
Sorry, I had a phone call I had to ignore. Go ahead.
I contacted Joe Dante and I asked him, I said, hey man, this is what I do. I don't know if you know who I am. This is what I do. Trying to find the beach. Which beach was it? And he told me a specific beach. And I went there and me and Buzz were looking around. We're like, this doesn't look like it, but maybe, you know, over the years, erosion and stuff. So we shot it. And then a fan, you know, after the Blu-ray came out, a fan messaged me and said, dude, wrong beach. This is the beach. And I looked it up and I'm like, fuck, he's right. I see it. It's totally, I see it now. And, you know, it happens. I mean, what can you do? You know, nobody's perfect. I mean, sometimes there'll be a location I've never found that I stumble upon while I'm doing an episode, you know?
Yeah, I stumbled upon the Fog's Church when I was in Sierra Madre. I didn't even remember it was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this is the church. And so, and yeah, I mean, and it was in Horace Hall of Grounds. I don't know why I didn't remember that.
Dude, like the one that just makes me, you know, this is the thing that, you know, you could drive by these things 1,000 times and never notice them. And I had been to Sierra Madre probably fucking at least 50 times. Okay. Because doing the tours, doing the episodes, doing all this shit, showing people around. You know, and I knew Return of the Living Dead Part 2 was shot there, The Fog, you know, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, all this. But there's one house that was eluding me from Halloween 2 is where the girl gets killed in the beginning. The Elrod, Mrs. Elrod, Mr. Elrod, you okay? So I could never find that house. Dude, that house is literally right behind the TV shop from, you know, it's right back.
Yeah.
All I had to do was walk around the building.
Yeah. It's like the town square and then like right around the corner, Alice's house right there. And it was funny because I don't know if I saw, did you ever find that on Horace Hall of Grounds or was that something that you found after you shot for?
No, a colleague of mine, Robert Patterson, who goes by Set Jetter, he writes a lot of the Horace Hall of Grounds articles now in Horror Hound magazine. So we kind of team up. He found it. He gets credit for finding that one. But I've never gone back. I haven't done an update. I've been meaning to just to do an update. I probably will next time I go to Sierra Madre. Kind of like I put out my Night of the Creeps episode and then literally within a year I found the fucking alley from Night of the Creeps. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for that. I've talked to everybody involved. Nobody could remember where it was. Fred Decker had no clue. He goes, dude, I don't know where that alley was. And actually some kid in the UK found it. There's this kid in the UK that I talked to online, and I don't know how he finds shit, but he finds it. And yeah.
You go, kid from the UK.
Yeah, his name's Paul.
Paul, hey, I mean, the thing that I like Sierra Madre, I went there when I was there. And by the way, my fiance hated, I mean, she thought it was cool at first. And then she was like, you're dragging me around Southern California to all these places. And I'm like, yes, because how many times am I going to be here? I don't know how you feel about Sierra Madre, but I feel like after being there, I was like, this would be like literally the perfect town to live in. Like, it's so small town right outside LA, 20 miles from LA. So you wouldn't even think it would exist in an area like that. But I mean, I loved that town. The one bummer with COVID though, was I couldn't go in the Buccaneer. Yeah. And I wanted to go because I believe I saw on your Horace Hall of Grounds, they still pretty much have the same setup inside, right? The paintings on the wall are just switched and everything. Yeah.
Still has the mural behind the bar is still there.
Yeah, you did your whole skit, with the TV while you're sitting at the bar. I remember that. Yeah.
Dude, we did the very last night of the 40th convention. We had a special event at the Buccaneer with Tom Atkins. It was limited to 100 people total. We did, because it's such a small bar, we did 2 groups of 50 at 2 different times. And everybody got to take a picture with Tom at the bar. Dude, they had so much fun, and Tom had so much fun. I mean, that was a blast. I am so thankful that Tom Atkins still seems to be doing well. I know, he's older now, but I mean, I'm holding out hope that I get to meet him one day. And that's another question. Where do you live?
Well, I live in like the Dayton area in Ohio, but I don't plan on, I lived in Cincinnati my entire life till about 2 years ago. So Horror Hound always came through Sharonville, I believe it was, a convention. And I never made my way to it, but the plan is for us to move to Southern California in the next 3 to 4 years, because that's where I want to be. So, and a lot more happens out there, but if you guys if Whorehound comes to Sharonville Convention Center, I've already made up my mind. I'm not missing it again. So,
well, they're doing September in Sharonville.
They are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Do they have a lineup out yet or no?
No. I mean, I know some of the people they're talking about, but Tom, he lives driving distance because he lives in Pittsburgh and
yeah.
So he comes to the Sharonville show quite a bit, but he's doing a Monster Mania thing in Pennsylvania in just a couple weeks.
Oh man,
with Stacey Nelkin, and
man, together.
Yeah,
that's a blast from the past. That kind of leads me into my next question. I know you have from like we were talking about at the beginning, before we came on here, you deal with Adrienne Barbeau, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Atkins. I mean, you name it. I know you've worked a lot with PJ Souls, and I know that you guys are actually good friends. And that kind of started back near the 25 Years of Terror. But I was going to ask you, what are some of your more like memorable convention experiences with some of these people? Like some of your favorite experiences with some of these actors, screenwriters, directors, whoever it may be, just ones that stick out.
Oh God, there's so many, man. There's so many. I mean, obviously the Jamie Lee Curtis thing was a really special achievement, a very stressful weekend, but that was really self gratifying, I guess. I mean, there's been so many, man. It's like, well,
then I guess I'll touch on that really quick. And that was I was going to ask you, is she as sweet as she seems to be? Because, and I'm sure the answer is yes, but Jamie Lee seems so like honest and just caring and giving. And like, she seems awesome. And I know you got to spend a weekend with her, and I just wanted to know if you could shed some light on her as a person.
Yeah, no, she is. I mean, her thing is if she commits to something, she goes all in 110%. So when she said, I'm coming to this thing to meet the fans, she wanted to give everybody there the best experience possible. So there was a mix up with how many tickets they sold for her and all this stuff. And I was stressing because we had a set schedule. We were like starting at 9 a.m. and we were supposed to be done by, I think, 6, take a break, and then at 7 o'clock do a Q&A. Well, they oversold it by so much that I was like, this is, I didn't know how she was going to react. I didn't know, because I've dealt with celebrities that are like, I have a hard out at this time. I'm at when the clock hits this, I'm walking out the door. I don't care how big the line is. Some people are just like that, but she was a trooper, and she said, you know what, Sean, we're going to get through all these people. We're not going to take a break. And we're going to, as soon as we get through all of them, we're going to go right into the Q&A. And we finished the signing at 10 p.m. and went right into the Q&A and was done with that by like 11. So she went like an extra 3 hours, and just total trooper, total pro.
It came through on the documentary too. I've watched that documentary, and it's awesome. Really like personal look at it. And you're right. I know that's your job. So there's multiple points in that documentary where you can tell you're like, we got to keep the train moving because we're on a schedule. And Jamie is just so like, it's fine. I'll talk to everyone. I'll let everyone get a chance with me. And it's like, I'm sure that was crazy for you, like you said, because you've worked with probably so many people that are like you said, hard out at this time, where she's such a big actress and she's not doing that. It's like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool.
Well, the thing with that is when you're in my position and you're looking at the numbers, and I'm like doing the math, and it's like, there is no fucking way we're going to be done by 6 o'clock. It's never going to happen unless we go boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling her that, and she's going, no, Sean, it's cool. We're going to take. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I've had plenty of celebrities tell me that. And then when it gets to the time, they're then, this is your problem. You fucked this up. And I didn't want, because I don't know, some people, they get moody as the day goes, they get tired, they get worn down, and then they get snippy and snappy. And I didn't know if, she could have been like that, but she wasn't. She was the best. But, she very well could have said, you fucked this up and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm trying to rush people, not because I want to rush a fan. I want a fan to have all the time they can. But at the same time, I also don't want the other 3 hours worth of fans to get screwed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never wanted it to come across that's not what I meant at all. No,
I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying, for when people see me act like this at shows when I'm with a client and they think, wow, this guy just cares about money and blah, blah, blah. It's not like that. I want to make sure everybody gets taken care of. I would rather each fan goes through and just had, 60 seconds with someone than 500 people never got the chance at all. You know what I mean? I mean, it's because I want to make sure everybody gets a shot, because I've been that dude. You know how many times I've been there? I'm a fan, dude. I've been to 2 times. I fucking went to signings that Tim Burton did. This is going back fucking 20, almost 20 years. 2 different signings. I stood in line to meet Tim Burton for probably 5-6 hours, and he fucking got up and walked. Dude, the worst was he did it to me. Literally, it was, what were they promoting? I think they were promoting Batman Returns. And it was Tim Burton and Danny Elfman signing together at this little Comic-Con in LA. And I'd been in line for like 5 hours. I get up there. I put my picture down. This is no bullshit. I'm not exaggerating this. This is a true fucking story. I put my picture down, right? Fucking Tim Burton puts his hand down with the pen. Hand is on my photo. Danny Elfman stands up and grabs Tim by the shoulder and goes, "Hey, we got to go." And he's like, well, "Okay, sorry guys, I got it." I'm like, you fucking touched it. You touched it, dude. No, are you fucking kidding me? and I am a massive Oingo Boingo fan. So I'm like, Danny Elfman, how did you do this to me, bro?
Well, I guess did you ever get to meet him again?
No. No, that was the first time. Second time, he did a signing at Virgin Megastore for the release of the Nightmare Before Christmas Laserdisc box set. That's how long it goes. Laserdisc box set. I still have it. So I buy this fucking $200 Laserdisc box set. Dude, I stood in line. It might even have been 6 hours. The fucking line went outside. We're in the hot sun. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
We get up there. We get up to the door. I can see him. I mean, he's probably at this point maybe 15 people away from us, but they have us waiting at the door and they bring in like 5 at a time.
Yeah.
Fucking guy gets up and leaves again. Dude.
After that, did you decide I'm done trying?
Bro, I lost it. For the first time, I lost it. And I found his representative that was there. I went off on this chick. I fucking told her the story of what happened to me the first time. So she's like, here's my phone number. Call me. We'll work it out. You can mail us a few things. We'll get them signed for you. So I do that. She tells me. So I sent her. I was trying to take advantage of the situation a little bit. So I think I sent her like 5 things. I know it was like an Edward Scissorhands poster. It was an Edward Scissorhands poster. Like a Nightmare Before Christmas 8x10, a Edward Scissorhands 8x10. I remember there was like 5 things, right? And dude, I was pestering them for over a year. Like, are you guys going to send me my shit back? Because I sent them some rare shit too. Like this.
Yeah.
They send it back. 2 things were signed.
What did he sign?
He signed an Edward Scissorhands 8x10 and a Nightmare Before Christmas 8x10. That's it. Not personalized, just Tim Burton. and
has
whatever.
that made you think of him any differently at all? You know, because I know being in this business, you might, you know, get to a point you see the side of people and you're like, maybe you're, I don't know, like, I don't know.
I definitely, I think less of him for walking away from his fans. The fact that that's pretty fucked. That, they should at least cut the line and say, hey, nobody from after you, we're not going to be able to get to, but they let us all stand in line that long to turn us away. I mean, it happens. I mean, I get it. I've been in that position too, where I was with somebody that has done that sort of thing, and believe me, behind the curtain, I'm the guy pleading with them, dude or chick. Come on, look at those, really? You're going to do that to your fans? I'm always on the side of the fan. I try. Yeah. But, sometimes you can't reason with people. And, I don't know Tim Burton. I've never officially met him, although he was right in front of me. I hear he's quirky and weird. But it's like, if I ever meet him and I have his ear, like if I meet him somewhere where I can actually have a conversation with him and not just on the street, I'm going to tell him the story. I'm going to go, bro, you hosed me. I'm going to tell him. Yeah. I have no problem telling him.
Hey, and you should. And it's crazy too, because I also know you're a big music guy, and as am I. And I'm sure you've been to probably hundreds of concerts. I'm not up there yet, but I've been to quite a few. And how many times you buy a ticket for a signing with the band afterward and the vocalist isn't there?
There it is.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the autograph.
That's one of them.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that is cool, though. That is cool. But what it took to get it is not cool. Not at all.
Yeah. No, it was. I'm trying to find the other one. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was just the one. Oh, you know what? It might have just been the one. Come to think of it, maybe he didn't do A Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh wait, no, he did. He did. That's right. It's framed in my entertainment room. Okay. Yeah, well, good. I'm glad. But yeah, I mean, you pay for a ticket or whatever to see one of your favorite bands or whatever, and the vocalist is never there because the vocalist is too important to sign, and that's happened to me many times. It's just like, come on, I paid the extra money and you just thought I'm just going to sit backstage and get fucked up, and I don't really care about signing your guys' shit. And I won't name drop any bands, but go for it. Call them out. I'm going to call one out. Go for it.
Well, no, I mean, there was a band, and it's a lesser known band. It was a band when I was in high school that was really popular, like the Warped Tour circuit, and their name was Memphis Mayfire. That was their name. And they used to do Vans Warped Tour and stuff. And they kind of blew up in that scene. And their singer, Matty Mullins, I'm sorry if Matty Mullins ever watches this. He's a piece of shit. He's an asshole. Mm-hmm. He did it to the fans. He did the same thing. Stood up while people were in line. We'd been in line for 5 minutes and the dude was already gone. All the other band members stayed there, but he was like, I'm too cool for this. And then one time I went to take a picture with him at a Warped Tour. I saw him walking. I was like, dude, like, can you get a picture? He's like, yeah, real quick. I didn't take it. I fucked up or somehow. And I was like, I didn't get it. And he was like, I got to go. And just walked away. And I was like, hey, man, I know that extra 2 seconds of your life was so valuable that, like, God forbid you stand and do something for a fan. But I don't know. Have you had any bad
where is he now?
They still do stuff, but nobody really cares about him anymore because they're basically just he got this whole reputation in that scene for being like a self-absorbed, conceited asshole. That was like literally wrote a song about how he was going to be the voice of a generation. And it was like, okay, now I'm done. I stopped listening to him because I soured on his personality. So maybe their music is still good. I don't give a shit because he's an asshole. So, yeah. And I'm sure you've had experiences where you go to meet a band or whatever. And I'm sure there have been letdowns, I'm sure, where it's like they weren't all there or they were just kind of assholes when you met them. And like, is there anybody you met, like music wise, that you're like, wow, these guys kind of suck?
Well, I was disappointed when I did back in 2015. I did the VIP meet and greet thing with Motley Crue, and Tommy Lee wouldn't do it. So it was literally the three of them. So that was disappointing. I hear he's doing them now, but he wouldn't then. But it's funny. I made a post on my Facebook page earlier today about this article I saw about Jimmy Page did a book signing, but he didn't actually sign. He had a stamp.
Oh my fucking God.
And I was just like, that's so typical because he's he's in my top 3 biggest assholes I ever met.
Yeah.
I met him in London, and he actually took pleasure in telling me no, like when I asked him for a photo. I mean, it was I'll tell you the story. It's a fun story. People enjoy the story. It wasn't fun for me, but the quick version, I'm at London Film Comic Con. The promoter there tells me, "Oh, did you see Jimmy Page was here today?" I'm like, "Fuck, Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin?" He's like, "Yeah." And I go, "No, I did." I go, "What the fuck's he doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, he's a big poster collector. He comes to every show. He just walks around, buys posters." And I'm like, "How's Jimmy Page do that?" And he's like, "Dude," he's like, "these kids don't know who he is. He's just some old man walking around." And I'm like, "Wow, I didn't think about that." Yeah. So nobody bothers him. So fast forward a year to when I go back the next year. It's a show that happens every July. And I'm sitting there. I'm sitting at a table. I was sitting with Vivica Fox, and she's doing her signing and stuff. And I'm just sitting there looking out over this sea of people, and I see him. I'm like, holy shit, that's Jimmy Page. I see him walking. So I jump up, I run over there, and I'm walking behind him. He's walking through this Comic-Con crowd. Nobody's bothering him. Nobody recognizes him. So I walk up behind him. I go, "Excuse me, Mr. Page." He just keeps walking. I go, "Excuse me, Mr. Page." Keeps walking. So I tap him on the shoulder. I go, "Excuse me, Jimmy?" And he turns around, he looks at me, and I go, "Do you mind if I get a photo with you?" And he steps right to my nose, like literally right to my nose, and goes, "Absolutely not." And then turns around and walks away. And I was just like, what a fucking dick, right? I was just like, holy shit. So I go back to the green room, and I'm in the green room, and I'm just completely just like, wow. I will never be able to fucking listen to a Led Zeppelin song the same again, Yep. And I'm in the green room, and I see the promoter, and I go, "Jason," I go, "I just met Jimmy Page." And he goes, "Complete bastard, isn't he?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Total wanker." And he goes, "He's a miserable human being." I go, "Yeah, you didn't tell me that."
Yeah, you should have fucking warned me.
Yeah. I told him what happened. He goes, "Oh yeah, that sounds right." I'm like, so.
I'm sure, maybe Jimmy Page has dealt with it a lot over his lifetime. He's older now. Led Zeppelin, obviously a big fucking deal. But still, I mean, it's not like he's being swarmed by people, like you said. So take 5 seconds to get one picture with one guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Next time I'm there, if I see that motherfucker, I'm just gonna walk up next to him and just bust one of these. Boom! Snap! And just go. Boom!
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, you should have just to spite him as he's walking away, just get pictures of him. Oh man!
I am next time. I'm gonna just photobomb selfie his ass, and then I'll look at him and go, boom, and walk away.
Hey, I'm sorry that happened to you though, because I know that, like you said, it makes you just listen to Led Zeppelin differently. You're like, well, fuck, this guy's a dick. I love his music, but he's a dick. I mean,
yeah.
Well, bad experiences with, we've talked bad experiences. We've talked good experiences. I wanted to quickly talk about, for people that may not know, Sean obviously has a YouTube channel. It's a pretty big channel, Malfunction. And he does a show with Christopher Nelson called The Thing with Two Heads. And yes, and I wanted to ask you how that start and how's it been for you? Is it like you love doing it? Like, give us some insight.
Basically, Chris and I were just talking on the phone one day, and we always just talk horror shit. We're just two horror nerds. Like, oh, dude, what did you watch this week? Oh, and we start talking. And he just kind of said out of nowhere, "Dude, we should do a podcast together." And I was just like, "Sure, Why not? What are we doing? We're sitting at home doing nothing, because it was the pandemic. So I was like, at the time when he brought this up, I had just started, like, with the extra time, started my YouTube channel. And I had a YouTube. I mean, I guess I made the channel years ago, but never did anything with it. But I started uploading content really for the first time, I don't know, back in April, I guess, of last year. Okay. So I did that, and I'm said, you know what? I'm finally going to put up all the Horrors Hall Grounds episodes. I'm just going to get them up there. I own them, so I'm going to put them up there. And I have all this old content that I'm sure people would love to see. It's funny is the old content, although the hardcore nerds are relishing it, they're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's not getting a lot of views. I mean, it's like, like I put up that interview with me and Richard Brooker, which I thought people are going to like, that's fucking awesome. He's dead. It's a great, it hasn't even hit 1,000 views. I mean, it's like, okay. But people were digging the Horrors Hall Ground stuff. And so I'm like, well, now I've got this platform. It's starting to build, a podcast would be cool. Let's do it. And there was a few video podcasts I watched regularly. So when he said podcast, I didn't know if he was thinking video podcast or if he was just thinking audio. But I said, well, I watch these video podcasts and they're pretty cool. And, we can, show stuff and this and that. And the original idea was we were going to do it together, like in a setting of some sort. Yeah. But then it was like, well, especially for both of us really who are in the industry, it doesn't look very good on you to be socializing while everybody's like, don't socialize, Yeah. So we're like, well, we could just do it through Zoom, So he got the Zoom account and, we started doing that. But what I had to do was learn how to edit. I mean, because I knew how to edit. I mean, I edited The Black Waters of Echoes Pond, my movie. I edited most of the Horrors Hall Grounds episodes, but I was always with an editor. Like Andrew Cash was our main editor on Horrors Hall Grounds. And for the first few episodes, I sat with him and said this. But then once we knew each other's rhythms, I trusted him. And then he would show me his cut and I'd go, oh, could you change this? But I knew how to edit. I just didn't know how to use the software. So I had to kind of teach myself. And, I've seen myself getting better. And I think I got a good groove now. I mean, I know a lot of people say I should step up. Well, my editing friends say you should think about getting into the, out of iMovie and go to like, was it Pro? What's it called? Final, not fine. Is a Final Cut? Is that what is it? No, is that right? No, or is that
is it a program?
It's a program. Yeah.
Well, my buddy uses Adobe Premiere, and that's what a lot of people use. I don't know if it's Adobe Premiere, but
I think it's called like Final Cut.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm like, well, I'm so fucking lazy. It's like I learned one thing, and I'm not trying to do CGI and shit. It's like it edits the shit together. It looks pretty good. So I've been having fun doing that. For me, the fun process is the editing, because that's where I take whatever he and I do and I kind of make it better. Like by cutting it together, adding the clips or the images, or, you can do things for comedic timing that play better than when you're just talking. Yeah. So, because I mean, it's really very satisfying to me when Chris will call me up and go, dude, I just watched that episode and that thing you did with blah, blah, blah. I was on the floor dying. Like, cause it's like, he was like a perfect example. I think he mentioned it in one of our last episodes and I forgot I even did it. He was like giving some speech to some guy who was feeling down and he was giving him this pep talk. And during the pep talk, I cut in all this footage of Rambo, like running through from First Blood, busting out of the the police station and throwing a guy through a window. And I don't know why I did that. I don't even remember really doing it, but he said I was fucking losing it when I watched that.
Yeah.
How I took
go ahead. Keep going.
I was going to say how I took this moment that was supposed to be tender and genuine, and I just fucking shit on it.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Well, see, and that's the thing with me is like I don't use I don't edit my stuff because one, I don't have the programs. I could pay for it, but if I did that, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So my buddy does that, and he's the same way. The first couple videos, it was like I wanted to talk to him the whole time. Here, do this, put this here. Now he has like a feel for me. I mean, there was one video he kept in. I thought it was something he would cut. For example, and I had food in my teeth. I spit it out. And he literally kept it, and not only kept it, but zoomed in on my face when I spit food out of my mouth, and kept it in the video. And like he does little things like that are cool. So I totally get what you're saying. He says editing's really fun too, because you can make something that you already find enjoyable. I'm sure just having talks with Chris is fun, but then to listen to that back while also adding a flair onto it for whatever effect. I mean, that shit's really cool. But I love your guys' camaraderie. I think you guys like really bounce off of each other really well. And did your relationship with Chris start with around 2018's Halloween, or did you know him beforehand?
Well, the funny thing is Chris and I have known each other for, God, probably over 10 years, but we never really talked. It was one of those things where he knew me, I knew him. We'd see each other in the circle of, parties or whatever. And it'd be, hey man, how you doing? You doing good?
Yeah.
Good to see you. Yeah. And it was always just kind of, and I was always like, cause you look at Chris's face. All right. He's got such a sourpuss like most of the time. And I'm just like, this fucking guy hates me, And then he told me that he was always like, this fucking guy hates me. Like we both thought we hated each other. Like, and then I forgot how we started talking, man. I don't remember what the connection was exactly, but we finally talked and he was like, I always thought you hated me. And I was like, dude, I always thought you hated me. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, what? And it was just, and then we hit it off, and it's funny because we've become super good friends. Like, but it's one of those things though, there's perceptions of you, I get that a lot where people look at me at conventions, especially when I'm working. Mm-hmm. When I'm working, I'm in a mindset. I'm always constantly thinking of things I have to do. I'm surveying the room. I guess I get a pretty intense look on my face, and people take that and they think he's an asshole. Like he's unapproachable. Because I guess I kind of do this. I kind of like, and people see that face and they're like, oh, don't want to fuck with him. And, but then if they come up and talk to me, I completely snap out of it. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And I've had so many people go, dude, I used to think you were such a dick until I finally talked to you. And I'm like, okay, well,
thanks, I guess.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So we become really good friends, and we were supposed to do a new episode this week because we've been a little behind, and his dad just passed away. So now he's trying to figure out while he's doing this film, and they're tight with, you can't go anywhere and this and that. I haven't talked as of yesterday. He wasn't sure what he was doing. So,
okay. Well, I mean, Chris, if I know you don't watch my channel, you watch Sean's channel, but I'm sorry to hear about that with your dad. I mean, that sucks. But I wanted to, it kind of flows into the next question, and that is, and don't worry, I'm not asking you to give us anything because I know you can't, but just off of first impressions, if people didn't know, Sean did get to visit the set of Halloween Kills, and he does have a little bit of a feel. I don't know if you've seen it, if you were able to see a test screening or not. Regardless, I'm not asking any spoilers. I just want to know, from what you've seen, what you know, should fans be looking forward to this one? If you were hesitant about 2018, will you like this one more? What do you think?
Well, I can't really say anything because I've signed an NDA. But I will say, I think fans are going to be very happy.
Good. Well, that's good. That's all we needed. And then, do you know anything about when they're planning to shoot ends? Because, okay. And you're not allowed to say that either? That's fine. We just hadn't heard any news, so I didn't know if you knew or not.
Yeah, I mean, there is a target start date, but everything's very up in the air right now because of COVID, obviously. Yep. But there has been a target start date, and as of right now, it's still a go. So we'll see. Well,
that's good.
Yeah.
I know everybody's been worried about it. And like I told you at the beginning of this, I'm not getting any information out of you that you're not allowed to talk about. I'm not going to press you on stuff like that. So he gave you 2 morsels. I hope you guys enjoyed those 2 little morsels because we're done talking about it. So something I wanted to address with you really quick. I have to get it out in the open. I feel like a dick because I know you have this undying love for Halloween 2. And I feel like I've been critical of that movie over the years. I don't know if it's the wig. I don't know if it's the comatose Jamie Lee for, almost all of the movie. But what is it about Halloween 2 for you that just you have a freaking blast with that movie? Because I know you've said before sometimes you may enjoy it more, watching it more than the first one. So
yeah, well. I was watching you guys rank the movies, and I think you were saying how much you loved Part 6, right? And you say it was your favorite one or something?
No, 5. 5.
Okay, 5's your favorite. Okay.
The one everyone shits on. Yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's in my top 3.
Now, and you said that was like the first one you saw in the theater?
Yeah. No, the first one I saw when I was a kid. So the very first Halloween movie was Halloween 5.
And there you go. And that is why you like it. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. It's a terrible movie, but you like it because it's the one you saw first. It's the one you have a nostalgic connection to. And Part 2 is a lot of that for me. Because it was a very special evening. I went to a walk-in theater with my Aunt Robin. She took me. It was a double feature with The Fun House, which is another one of my all-time favorites. Mm-hmm. And that was a magical night. I mean, because here I would have been maybe 10, 11 years old. Yeah. And I was terrified and so excited at the same time. And it's just a feeling you, as an adult, you don't get anymore. And when I watch that movie, I kind of transport back to that feeling just a little bit, just enough to make it magical. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think that's why. I mean, I honestly can't tell you if Halloween 2 is a good movie or not because
It is.
I relate to it for a different reason. It's because of that reason. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and I also love the fact that it just picks right up where the first one ended, it's, I just remember, I mean, I went and saw it again. About a week later. It was playing on a double feature with American Werewolf in London. And that was the first time I saw that. So it was another magical day. So it was like, I mean, I had nothing but amazing experiences with that movie, So I think that's why, I think that had a lot to do with it. Was just that whole, plus that fucking mask was so great,
they never got it right, close enough since then. I mean, I liked Rob Zombie's mask in the first one. I liked 2018's mask. 6's mask is okay, but every other movie is just really kind of shit. So yeah, that mask. I mean, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that's the same mask from the first one. It had just been 3 years of wear and tear, so it looked a little different, but not enough to where you couldn't tell who it was. So
yeah. Plus, it looked different. It looked different on Dick's head. He has a different shaped head than Nick did. Yeah. And I think a lot of the spray on the hair coloring had kind of washed out maybe, and it was looking a little more the Kirk color. Yeah. So it had all these interesting differences, you know, and who knows? I mean, it had all that like dirty kind of scuffing on the face. It may have been in a box with an old newspaper. It could have just been old newspaper rubbed against it. You know, you never know what. But I just love the look of that. They're so very different, but still terrifying. Yeah. And then, you know, when part 4 came out, we saw the poster and we got all fucking stoked. And then when that mask stepped on screen, you were just like, wait, what? Where's the one on the poster? Where's the one, you know?
This one's good. And they did the same shit for Halloween 5. It's the same mask. Oh, don't worry. It's back to the original mask. And you're like, what the fuck? He looks like a crow in 5. Like,
well, that's what happens, bro, when you fall in a well and in a river, the water fucks the latex up and makes it look completely different. That's what
happened from 4 to 5, guys. If you ever need to know, it's all scientific. We won't get into it. But what you say, though, about you don't know, you're not sure if it's a good movie because you just love it so much and I know what you mean by that. Objectively speaking, Halloween 2 is a well-made movie. It's a good movie. Halloween 5, I don't want to talk about it because I know a lot of people hate that movie. There are a lot of really bad things about it.
There's so much bad about it.
I know. I love Danielle in the movie. And I like the kills.
Why is she mute? Why is she mute?
I know.
Why do we have to have a stuttering kid?
Everybody's going to watch this and be like, oh, well, Nick, you love Halloween 5. Why are you trashing it? Because I'm being objective. Like, I know there's a lot you can pick out from that movie, but I don't know. It's the same thing. I love it. I mean, it scared the shit out of me when I was like 8 years old when I watched it the first time. And I always had babysitters because my mom worked 2 jobs. So I thought, oh shit, this dude's gonna, is he gonna come kill me and my babysitter? So that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, wanted to ask you real quick. We're gonna be wrapping up here in a few, so I won't keep you much longer, Sean. And by the way, I really appreciate this. Is there a movie you're looking forward to this year, like stands out, top of the list, can't wait for this fucking movie? Or has it already come out? Like your most anticipated movie of this year that you think of?
I'm listening to God, I can't think of anything coming out that I'm super excited for. I mean, obviously, Halloween Kills, but I mean, what's funny is for whatever reason, and I wasn't a fan of the other films, but I was super psyched for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah?
And I saw it and I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's by no means a good movie, but it's just exactly what you want it to be. Just fucking, Yeah.
Well, I played those games when I was a kid, but I never saw that any of the movies or iterations before. And I watched that trailer and I was just like, damn, this looks fun. Like, I have HBO Max, so I don't know why I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, I mean, it looked like a fucking blast. So
yeah, well, I mean, I think the big disappointment with the other films was you wanted the over the top violence.
Yes.
And they're finally delivering that, which is great, because you're not going to Mortal Kombat for story. If you're a fan of the video game, you're a fan of the fighting and the gore because there is no story,
Yeah. No, it was the same shit. Like, I love the MonsterVerse movies, Godzilla, Kong, that type stuff. And you get, this swath of people every time one comes out. Oh, the story's fucking stupid. The story makes no sense. Like, well, I didn't go for the story. So if you went to see 2 giant creatures fight and you were worried about the story, you're in the wrong place. So
yeah, well, no, but in the defense of that argument, the story, that's what I had a problem with in the Godzilla King Kong. It was like, we don't need the story. Fucking this ridiculous story, get rid of it. Just give me monsters fighting, know?
I agree. That was the one downside for me. I love the fights. I love the reveal at the end and all that. But the fucking oh, Millie Bobby Brown's character just happens to be involved again because why not? We got Millie Bobby Brown signed on for 2 movies, so we might as well utilize her. And I'm just like, and the fucking conspiracy theorist guy, like I think his name's Brian Tyree Henry. I like him as an actor, but it just fucking it was just dumb. Like none of that was necessary. So
yeah, it was like, wow, this is like the most high tech, top secret lab in the world, and you guys just strolling in,
walked right in. I mean. It's like, it was so, and we just happened to get, on the transport to fucking Hong Kong and nobody noticed. Like, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of that, but it's super fun. I mean, a lot of people would probably expect me to say Halloween Kills is mine, but I don't know, man. I'm really looking forward to The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. Forgot about that one. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I love the Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
And interested to see what it's going to be like without James Wan. I don't know if you're a Saw fan or ever were a Saw fan, but how do you feel about Spiral? What are your thoughts?
I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like I'm not really a Chris Rock fan at all, and it's not a Saw movie. It's in the Saw universe.
Yeah.
So, I'll watch it, but I'm not excited for it at all.
I mean, my thing is you really couldn't get Tobin Bell back just to do his voice. Like we had to hear this. I don't know if you heard it on the trailer, but it sounds like Kermit the Frog. Like it's terrible. I don't know. I mean, that's iconic. You're gonna if this is gonna be a copycat killer, you'd think that they'd admire him and it would be his voice, but whatever. I mean, I digress. I'm gonna see it too. But I don't know if they're already planning a 10th one, they said. So if this one sucks, I'm really going to be disappointed because then we're just going to be going down the line with new movies that are even worse and worse. And I feel like the 7th one and Jigsaw were pretty bad. So we're already in that, like, let it die. I mean,
Jigsaw
was better than 7.
I was going to say, I didn't mind Jigsaw that much.
Yeah, it was better than 7.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed Jigsaw. I mean, it's the same shit. It's like... if you're going into a Saw film thinking you're going to see something new.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place, buddy.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I wanted to, I'd love to talk to you more about some other time. And I'd love to have you on again, in the future. No rush, but because I really do enjoy talking to you. And I've always admired you. I literally get brought back every time I think about you. I think about that song, Horror's Hollow Grounds. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what is being said, but I just dig it. And I dig the montage. And I just remember you and PJ Souls walking through Haddonfield. I think that was your first episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that band. It's one of my old bands. The band was called The Heathens, and the song is called Not My Problem, and it has nothing to do with anything that you're seeing. It was just like, I need a theme song. What can I use? What is something that's fast paced and kind of, we can do some quick editing to and make it look exciting. Like I'm going here. here.
Yeah.
And
it works perfect. I mean, it fucking works perfect. Like,
yeah. Well, what's funny is like as I get older, as we get older, and how old are you, by the way?
You're gonna hate. I'm 26, so
okay. People like you. No, I'm just kidding. But no, like younger people that they have the shorter attention spans, and it's like they just want to see clips. They just want to see. They don't want. And I actually had my first of all the fucking episodes I've put up of Horror's Hollow Grounds. I finally had somebody commented, "Why is the intro so long?" Like,
what the fuck?
I'm like, really? And I thought to myself, well, I was trying to establish this as a show when it was on the Blu-rays and this and that. And now that it's on YouTube, should I cut the intro down and just, make it,
if you want to cut it down because this medium, like you said, there's a lot of young people on it. If you feel like that would help, but do not get rid of it entirely because that shit is gold. And I know a lot of your hardcore fans, people like me that have watched you for damn near 15 years, that's synonymous with you.
Well, but I also think to myself, even the people that watch every episode, how many of them, they've seen that intro so many times, they know where to skip right ahead to. Okay, now boom.
I still watch it. I still do. And it's cool too, because I said something, I was showing it to Brooke yesterday, and I was like, I've been there. I haven't fucking been there. And the one place that kills me that I haven't been is the fucking lighthouse from the fog. I mean, I don't envy the trip up and down the steps, but I really want to see that one day. I mean, that would be so fucking cool. Is that in Northern California?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like a good, like almost 8 hours from LA.
Yeah. Cause you're based in Southern California, right? So yeah. So I remember when I was in South Pass, I thought for a second, maybe we could do a day trip up to Northern California. And then I GPS'd it and I was like, 9 hours. No, we're not fucking doing that. No.
Nah, people forget how big California is. I mean, it's why we have the biggest population in the U.S. I mean, it's a big state, and people say, oh, he lives in California, right? I'm like, no, he's like 9 hours away. He can't, But my dad lives in Northern California, so it's like I don't see him hardly ever because he's so far away. But anyhow, what was I going in with that? But
the lighthouse in the fall.
Yeah, and to top it off, that lighthouse, not only is it far once you get, out into that area, to drive there, it's a long drive to get to the lighthouse. It's like this one road that just like takes forever. Like those shots they show of Adrian Barbeau and the little Jeep thing. It's like that for a long time. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm envious as hell that you got to see that.
You're young. You're going to fucking have plenty of time to see all this shit.
I said the same shit. I was like, I'm going to go to 40 Years of Terror. And then I didn't do that shit and then didn't make it to California until last year. So I keep saying I want to do these things. I just need to pony up the money and do it. Another place I want to see that I seemed like you had a ball with Tommy Lee Wallace in Lolita.
Lolita. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know the factory's actually for sale now. Has it been that way for a while, or is that recent?
I think it's been for sale for like 20 years.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure it wasn't going to be gone anytime soon.
Well, I can't imagine. Well, I mean, I guess they could tear it down, but if you go to that town, there's so like nothing happening there, and it's so desolate, and so I can't imagine anybody making the effort to tear it down, because it's like there's plenty of room to build something else. I mean, it's like it's weird, but if you go out there, I mean, I'm trying to think of how far it is from the Fog Lighthouse. It's not close, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like near the border of Oregon. It's like way up there. Okay. It's like far. So, yeah, because I've been meaning to go back to, if you go to Lolita, there's a town called Ferndale, which is about less than 5 miles from Lolita, and that's where they shot Tobe Hooper's Salem's Lot.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and I've been there. I've done it as a written article in Whorehound, but I didn't do an episode. So I've been meaning to go back and do an episode. They also shot, I don't know if you saw the Frank Darabont movie, The Majestic.
I have not.
With Jim Carrey. It's more of a drama. It's a good movie though. They shot it in that same town. It's got this total like New England vibe. But I've been meaning to get back out there and do that, because a lot of people have been going, dude, you should do Salem's Lot. And I'm like, well, I did it, but I didn't do it. I did it, sort of.
I always wanted to ask you, from your Horror Solid Ground episode on the Blu-ray of Halloween 3, when you guys were visiting the Rose of Shannon Motel, and the guy couple doors down said, go back to LA, you fucking poser, or something like that. You didn't.
It was not Tony Moran.
Yeah. What was that about? Did you guys say something to him, or was he just like, why the fuck are you here with cameras?
No, we said nothing. Literally, we pulled into the parking lot. We got out of the car, and Buzz had his camera, and we hadn't started filming or anything yet. And we were just kind of talking about what we were going to do. Like I was talking to Tommy and he's saying, okay, this was here. That's the room we use. Okay. And I'm like, well, let's start here. Let's walk, we kind of map it out. Let's do a walk and talk here. And as we're just sitting there talking, we hadn't even knocked on a door. We hadn't done anything. This guy just steps out of his room and starts cursing at us. Like, get the fucking camera out of here, blah, 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 all this stuff, just yelling. And I had zero idea that Buzz turned the camera on, my camera guy. Thank God, because, it was like when he told me afterwards that he's all, dude, I filmed that. I was like, what? I was so stoked. I think the biggest question I get asked was, was that fake? That's like, well, was that real or was that fake? It was 100% real. And then I think a lot of people think I was playing up to the camera. I had no idea the camera was on. So I was literally just getting irritated with this guy because I'm looking at this guy going, I could fucking knock you out so quick. Because he looked like he was like 150 pounds soaking wet. I'm just like, bro, I'm just like, come on, dude. You want to talk shit? So what happened? Well, he was focusing on me for whatever reason. He was because there was three of us, and he's like, "Yeah, you with the fucking hair." It's like, well,
with hair.
We all have hair, but I think I know who he's talking about. So I was like, what do you want? And so we exchanged some words. I told him, come on, let's go. If you're such a tough guy, he goes back into his apartment. And I don't know if this footage exists. I've been trying to get all the raw footage, because I don't I had a couple episodes of the raw footage, but I didn't have this one. I was hoping I had it. Because I don't know how much more Buzz filmed. I don't remember. But what happened is he goes back in his apartment, which happened to be the one right next door to the one Tom Atkins and Stacey Nelkin stayed in. It was like apartment 1, apartment 2, where the guy was, and then apartment 3 is where Tom and Stacey stayed. So we had to go in there to film. The dude is banging on the wall trying to fuck our shit up the whole time. It was a nightmare. So he goes in his apartment, and then Tommy turns to me and he goes, yeah, I don't know if that was a very good idea. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, fuck that guy. And he goes, you could have a gun. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't really think of that, But then he walks out of his apartment with a baseball bat. Right?
Oh my God.
So right when this happens, the property owner pulls up. Now, we had been in contact with the property owner and got permission to film there. So he pulls up and I go, dude, this fucking guy. And he goes, hey, he starts yelling, get back in your fucking apartment. He starts yelling at him and basically talks him down and tells him, dude, get in your apartment, fucking shut up. And he listened to him because it's like his landlord, But what he did is he banged on the walls to try to fuck with us. And anytime we filmed outside of the hotel, he stood on his porch doing this the whole time. So there's one shot, I've talked about this before. There's one shot where we're across the street and Tommy and I are across the street and it's tight on Tommy's head. And you can see right here, the gas station, Rafferty's. And then right here, you can see out of focus, the hotel. If you look closely right over Tommy's shoulder, you can see the guy standing there flipping us off. If you look and if you know it's there, you can make it out.
I'm going to find it now. Yeah. I want to see that. Yeah. So yeah, that's obviously a crazy experience, but like going to these, you were the guy that tipped me off years ago on 25 Years of Terror, I think, about the people that own the Wallace House aren't too keen on Halloween fans, and when I went and visited, I want to say it was August. I want to say they had a sign, like a typed up sign on their door that said like no still photography, no solicitors, like that type of shit on it. I didn't get close enough. I was just like on the sidewalk, but I said in my video, I was like, Sean Clark said these people, they're not keen on Halloween fans. So, but you can tell they have gone all out to make that house almost unrecognizable because which I don't know why, everyone knows where it is. But yeah, I mean, speaking of something like that, like have there been places where I'm sure there have been. Can you name a place where you went for a filming location and it was like super unwelcoming? They're like, get the fuck out of here,
Well, there was those two. I don't know if those. I mean, dude, that was so long ago. I don't know who owns those houses anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, to my knowledge, I've never heard about them being on the market. And usually,
the Doyle house looked vacant to me. They had like curtains open, and I didn't see anything inside. So, but I know they shot there for American Horror Story a couple years ago too. So I don't know what the deal is with that. But the Wallace house had a bunch of cars there. There was multiple people there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't approach the houses or anything.
Yeah, I went back there. Excuse me. I went back there and shot something. What did we shoot? We went back there to shoot something, maybe for a Halloween 2 episode. When we went back and we shot for Halloween 2. Somebody, I don't think they came out of the house, but somebody walking down the street, like with their dog or something, started giving us shit. Like, you can't film here without a permit. Do you have a permit? I'm like, no. So you can't film here. I'm like, yeah, I can. I can film from the street. I said, I can legally film from the street or the sidewalk. No, you can't. I go, yeah, I can, and I'm going to. And they were like, well, I'm going to call the police. And I said, you do that. By the time they get here, we're going to be long gone. Have a good day. And, so I've had that kind of shit happen. People that were, let me see. I mean, I've had places just like totally deny me. I mean, I've gotten real lucky, but I remember
in the Myers house. That was locked when I went there. And I think maybe that was due to COVID. I know it's an office building now, but I wanted to go inside. I mean, you can see inside and you can see it all. But
I was just there. I was just there for something else last year. I can't say what it is, but people will find out about it pretty soon. It's not for my channel or anything, but Nick Castle and I were there for something that was filmed. But it has nothing to do with a DVD release or Blu-ray or anything like that. Not like that, but there's something happening. You'll find out. But that was cool to get back in there. But the guy who owned that, there was two guys that owned the house, a guy named David Margraves and another guy. And David was cool. The other guy was not. Like, the other guy was like, you can't film here. Don't film here. Blah, blah, blah. Total dick. He died, but his wife now owns it. Or wait, no, am I mixing that up? Maybe David died. David died, and his wife now runs it. I think it's David's wife that now owns it, but the other guy was a jerk. But I'm trying to think. One that was like, it's completely unrelated. Like, I've never done an episode. It was just, cause I also will go to filming locations of films I just love just to go, I wasn't doing an episode or anything, but I'd like to go back and actually do an episode. There's a movie I love that you've probably never heard of. People watching this channel probably have no idea. It was a movie called My Bodyguard. And it's a movie from 1980 about this kid who's getting bullied in school, and he hires a tough kid to be his bodyguard. It's a cool movie. Matt Dillon's in it. It's a cool movie. Anyway, I love that movie. So I went to Chicago. I was going to all the filming locations, and I went to the school. And man, I tell you, man, back in the day, you could just walk on a school campus. But nowadays, nowadays it's gnarly. Like, back in the day, there wasn't even fences. I mean, there was always fences for like the playground or the field, but there was never fences that closed the campus. You could always just walk on, Mm-hmm. Nowadays, there's like crazy, it's tough. And in Chicago, they have indoor schools because of the winters. And so I went and I got it. There were kids were, it was after school. There was people going in and coming out, and there was a security guard. And I was like, hey, I'm a big fan of that movie, My Bodyguard. I was wondering if I could just take a few pictures. Like, nope. And I'm just like, dude, I'm from California. Here's my ID. I go, I'm just, come on, man. Nope. He just would not budge, man. And all these people are coming in. I'm like, well, all these people are coming. They're here for a volleyball game. I said, well, can I go to the volleyball game? And he goes, you can go in there where he goes, but that's all you can only go into. Well, so I did just so happens the gym was the one from the movie, which was really cool.
Nice.
So I took, and it was funny because there was a couple young black teenage girls that were hanging out listening to me plea with this guy. And they were all kind of going, come on, man, let him in, and they were razzing him and shit. And he's like, nope. So anyway, I get to at least take pictures of the gym, and I'm walking. I leave. I tried. I stood there for an hour, just begging the guy. I think I even offered him money. I've done that before. I mean, like, I've offered people cash. Like, dude, what if I give you $100? But he wasn't budging. So I'm walking away from the school. All of a sudden, a side door pops open. And it's one of those girls. And they're like, hey. And I'm like, what? And she's all, you want to see school, right? Come on. And I'm just like, so I go in and I ask her, do you know where there was a certain auditorium. Like, I couldn't remember everything. I mean, I was stressing too, because,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I was like, there was a certain auditorium I wanted to see. And she said, oh, it's over there. And I'm walking around trying to match up classrooms too. But I saw the auditorium. I'm walking down a hallway, and it dawned on me when I was sitting there talking to the security dude, he was sitting in front of screens. There was cameras. So I'm walking. All of a sudden, I see homie come around the corner. He's like, hey. And I'm like, I bounced out a side door, and I was gone, man. But I at least snapped a few pictures.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if I can think of some other good ones that are like, oh man, I know I've dealt with some real negative people that have yelled at me, and people come out and they start telling you that you legally can't do this, and it's like, no, I legally can, and you just get into whole deals with people, but sometimes, man, if you're just genuine with them and you tell them, like, just be real with them, they usually can be pretty cool. But my advice to anybody going to any of these places to do anything is never ask for permission.
Yeah.
Because if you ask for permission, or like in advance, like let's say you got a hold of a homeowner, like you had their phone number and you said, hey, I'm coming to town. I'd really love to film, blah, blah, blah. 95% chance they're going to say no. Mm-hmm. But if you just show up on their doorstep and you go, hey, I'm from, I came here from, this is a perfect example. Almost everything from Halloween 4, 5, and 6, all those, I showed up, knocked on the door, and just said, hey, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. We're working on the Blu-ray for this film. I'm sure this movie was shot in your home. And they're like, yeah. Oh, come on in. Dude, people are just inviting me in their houses. Almost every one of them, except for the Myers house from part 5.
Yeah,
all of them let me in.
You were just in the Carruthers house, and the guy that owned it was just like letting you like look around and just talking in the family room. And I was like, that is so cool. Like,
dude, the one that blew my mind was the woman that owned, was it not the Carruthers house? It was the Meeker house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, because she was like a woman in her 60s by herself, let me and my camera guy just roll in and just take over. Mm-hmm. She was super cool. I mean, yeah, I'm sure afterwards she kind of thought, wow, that probably wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I have one, I guess, good quality, is I have a gift of gab, and I know how to charm people, and I just kind of say the right things, and you flatter them, and let them know.
Like, oh, okay,
Yeah, and I remember one time me and my buddy went to Austin, Texas, and we snuck it was on a Sunday, and we snuck into the school from Dazed and Confused. And it's an indoor school, and we're like, and it's actually, this footage is, I put up a video, and we're whispering, and we're walking around, we're filming, and you weren't shooting an episode, we were just fans filming, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And we're walking around, and all of a sudden this woman comes around a corner, and she stops, and she sees us, and we're like, hey, You know, and I just started going into, hey, you know, we're big fans of the movie and blah, blah, blah. And you know, cause she's like by herself, woman in a school, you know, we could rape her right now, you know, you know, we could kill her. And, you know, I got her like comfortable, like said, oh, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, want to see the classroom? I'm like, yeah. And she was awesome. She showed us the wood shop. She took us. I was like, man, you have no idea how much we appreciate you. I mean, that is so awesome. And, you know, and I'm sure there's some people that are like that. And then like the 5th, 6th, 10th time it happens, they're kind of over it, you know?
Oh yeah. When I was when we were walking around the street, right where Ben Tramer dies. And then down that same street, you have the Elrod house. And I was walking and filming, and I was like, the Elrod house is right here. I didn't want to be weird, so I had my camera pointing down at the ground until I got to the house, and I pointed it up, and I just said, this is the Elrod house, blah, blah. And there was people on the porch. So I stopped recording, and the woman goes, she's like, it was a young guy and his wife, I guess. And she was like, are you here for Halloween too? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, we're the Elwood house, aren't we? And I was like, yeah, Elrod, but I didn't correct her. But I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah. If I was like, would it be cool if I took pictures and stuff? She was like, sure. And you can go around the back and take pictures too. But this was like height of the pandemic. So I didn't even think of asking, can I come in? And on top of that, I knew it's been remodeled.
It don't look nothing like it used to now.
Yeah, but they were super cool. Like, it was just a matter of, I caught them standing there and they approached me basically. And I was just like, could I take pictures? And they were like, yeah, sure. Why not? And then Alice's house in Sierra Madre, I wanted to walk up the driveway where Michael walked up when she was on the phone, and I started walking up, and I had to cut the video because Brooke's next to me. She's like, what are you doing? Like, you can't just walk into people's driveways. And I was like, you don't understand what this is like for me right now. So, I mean, have you ever caught yourself doing that too? Like, where you'll maybe get a little too close to, if you don't have permission, you're like, oh.
You know what I do? This is the way I do all of my shit, is you got to play dumb. I mean, so you walk up there, you do it. And if somebody walks out and goes, hey, what the fuck you doing? You go, oh, I'm just a big fan. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll leave. You know, you just play dumb, because if you walk up and knock on the door, hi, I'm a fan. I'd like the video. No. Okay, bye. Then you don't got nothing. At least you got what you got. I just go for it, you know, and you just play stupid and like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's what the no trespassing sign means. Oh, sorry. You know, you just play dumb.
And they redid the church. They added like this like driveway almost at the church for the fog, and it's almost unrecognizable. But unless you know what you're looking at, and I side by side compared a photo I took from the shot when Janet Leigh and Nancy Loomis, they pull up in the car. It's that doorway, but the difference is I don't know if there's been some remodeling, but not much. But it's really just the drive up, and the foliage and all that shit is just totally different. So you wouldn't know what you were looking at unless you looked. You knew.
When were you in California?
I was there in August, the first week of August last year. So it was actually at the peak of right before the peak of the wildfires. I mean, I saw them out the window on the plane.
So when you went to South Pass, the spot where Ben Tramer gets hit, which is the same corner where Lori and Tommy meet.
Yep.
Was that house gone yet? Or is it still there?
Would it have been the house that was right behind the stop sign?
Yeah. So it would be the house right behind the van where he gets hit.
Yeah, it was gone.
Because they tore it down. I know they tore it down and just rebuilt it. So
yeah, it was. I believe there was even like a dumpster in the on the property with a bunch of what looked like drywall and wood and all that shit in it, and there was a fence. But yeah, that. And I actually got the spot wrong. And then like 15 minutes later, while I was going on Google, I was like, God, this is the fucking spot. So I went and shot at the right spot. But it's cool. The curb still is painted red, which is noticeable. So that's really cool. And I also didn't even realize that the street that Lori walks home from in Rob Zombie's Halloween is the same street that the three girls are on when Annie yells "Speed kills." Didn't even realize that was the same street. I walked right over that spot and didn't point it out. So there's a couple things I don't forgive myself for either. But yeah,
I did a Rob Zombie's Halloween episode.
Yeah, I watched it. I thought you did that with what was the guy's name?
Adam the Woo.
Okay,
but what I did though is I shot my own episode the same day. I haven't put my episode out yet. He does quick and dirty. He'll shoot in the morning, edit at night, put it out the next day. Me, I'm more meticulous. I have to line everything up. I need to put in the movie clips. I need to do all that shit. And so I'm that episode, and he's going to make appearances in it. Obviously, my episode will come out soon. I'm working on it. It's a beast though. It's a beast of an episode.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. It's like, do you try to, if it's all in that general area, do you try to get every single one because I'm sure you'd feel incomplete if you're like, fuck, I missed 2 spots.
Well, I'm a completist. I see these people, I'm not going to name any names that do location videos, and they do one location. And they do a big fucking thing for one location from a movie. And it's like, really? And it's like, you're clearly just trying to get clicks. It's like, you're going to spend 15 minutes on one location. It's like, you know what? Do the fucking work and put it together. I mean, I'm currently working on about 12 episodes, and I piece them together because, some shit's all over. There's sometimes stuff in different states, like, for example, if I wanted to do the movie Joyride, it'd be like California, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, all for one movie.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's, stuff like that. So I'm very meticulous. Like the Rob Zombie Halloween one, there's one location that we couldn't get into. I did find, I found one more location Adam didn't get. And I went and did it later. It's not major. It's technically 2 locations. It's the same spot, but it's 2. I'll explain it when you see the video. But I told him, and I go, guess what? He's like, fuck, because I found some shit he didn't. But the place that was used for Brad Dourif's office, the interior. It's a real place and you can visit it, but it's been closed because of COVID. So I've been purposely holding back because I want to go there. I want to get the footage and I want it to be complete. I want to have a complete episode. So that's been my main reason for kind of sitting on my episode. So I take pride in it. It's a hobby. This is a hobby for me. I enjoy it. I'm fascinated by filming locations, even if it's a movie I don't really like that much. I mean, since I'm, as you noted, the Halloween guy, I feel like I need to do every episode now, or every film.
All right, I was going to ask you, is that something that you're able to, I was thinking like Blu-ray releases, but just yourself. Do you think that's something you're able to do?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm even considering going back to North Carolina and doing a Kills episode and having it ready to drop the day the movie comes out. That way, because I got the advantage, I know where everything is already. Yeah. Everybody else kind of has to wait for the movie. I know there's some fans that have already done location videos on Kills because they found out they were shooting at the place where the hospital was, but I know where everything is. So I could go do a full video and beat everybody to the punch, which is kind of what I'm considering. It depends if I have time. But what was I going to say? Oh, one, it's my least favorite in the franchise, and I know you like it because I heard you guys talking about it the other day. Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm going to do it in a couple weeks.
That's all Georgia, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Georgia to do a bunch of signings with my Walking Dead clients and visit Chris, because Chris will be there working on his project. And I'm gonna do, as of right now, I have 4 episodes in Georgia, Halloween 2 being one of them.
And don't hold back shitting on the movie when you do it either.
No, I'm not going to shit on the movie. I mean, I don't, I'm not, I mean, I'll probably make a statement at the beginning that this isn't my favorite film, but it's part of the franchise. And I kind of feel like I need to do every movie at some point. I need to do them all. So, and it's funny is I'm one of those guys that I don't want, because people go, oh, are you going to do this? People were like immediately, dude, you're going to do Halloween 2018? Like they were asking me like right when it came out. And I'm like, well, dude, the whole purpose of Horror's Hallowed Grounds is taking a look back at these places and how they've changed. So I was kind of always against that. But now I'm also kind of getting roped into the whole, you want to get it out first and you want to get more clicks than these other fuckers. So I was thinking, you know what? There's not too many times where I'm going to have the advantage on somebody. Maybe I should use it on Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends for that matter but so I might do that. But as far as part 2, it's already like 12 years old, so why not,
it's fucking crazy because I remember seeing that opening night and being so stoked for that. That's one of those movies too. I was 14 when it came out, so it's not the same as being like a little kid, but that was the last Halloween movie that gave me that like feeling inside when I went to see it. Like I'm so excited, like kid in a candy store, Michael Myers on the big screen. And I feel like that's why I was kind of bummed when I first saw 2018 because I felt like I was so excited for it. And then I'm in the theater and I'm watching it. I'm like, this is really well made, but it's just not feeling the same like these movies used to, these experiences used to. And so I feel like I hyped that up a little bit too much myself. But no, I think that would be super cool to see you visit those locations because, and I'm sure you can agree, regardless of people's thoughts on the film, it's shot really, really well. And they got some super cool locations in that movie. And I would love to revisit some of those locations because I've never made my way out there. My mom lives in Florida. So I was able to, she lives in the town where Jeepers Creepers was filmed. So I was able to see all those locations and that was super cool.
Did you get to see the church before they tore it down?
No. And I know the reason, I think the reason why was that they like the locals vandalized it because of the movie or whatever and tried to burn it down. So they tore it down and that fucking sucks. The only thing you can see is there's one remaining pipe sticking up from the ground. And that was part of, the foundation was over that somewhere. So that's how you know where to find it. And the factory at the end, that lot is now a totally new office building, but that you can go to the lot. And I actually talked to the guy across the street who has this small business. He was like, I was here when they were filming it. I remember everything. He's like, not long after the movie, they tore it down and they built this new structure. And he was the one that pointed me to it. It was the last place. I couldn't find it. I was like, where the fuck is this factory? Yeah. And he explained it all to me. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but do you get fanboyish sometimes when you see some of these locations? Like I remember when I was standing on the porch of the Myers house, I took pictures of me like kissing one of the banisters and hugging it. And I was I was like, dude, Donald Pleasance fucking walked on these steps. Like fucking like Charles Cyphers, like these dudes were standing where I'm standing. Like it's just so cool. Do you ever get that moment still that you?
Absolutely. That's why I still do it. I get that excitement every time. Yeah. I mean, it's the adrenaline rush. It's the hobby. It's the, getting there and having that moment of, wow, right here, this happened right here. I mean, that's so much fun. I mean, it's crazy, how much during this pandemic, it kind of re-energized me to get back into this, to get really like, I'm like, wow, I got the time to do this now. I could really start cranking, now I kind of feel like Burgess Meredith in that episode of The Twilight Zone where his glasses break and, he finds the library with all the books. And, as the conventions are coming back, I'm like, it's not fair. It's not fair. There was time now.
Yeah.
There was time now. And now I'm being sucked back into the conventions.
Hey, well, I'm glad, man. I'm happy for you because I know that like, I know you want the time to do Horse Hollow Grounds and stuff like, but I know that the convention circuit's also really important to you. And I'm sure this past year has been super weird though, but hasn't it been weird? You know, you were like, you're at home and you're like, well, what the fuck do I do? And
it is not weird at all, dude. I've been traveling nonstop for over 10 years, probably. To be at home doing nothing is the best vacation I've ever had. In fact, I would like to put this out there in the world right now that I think we should sit back for like one more year and just to be sure.
That's what got me back into doing my channel was COVID. I was like, why did I? And that's the thing. I never took this seriously, and I hated it because my collection video from years ago has got like 50,000 views, and my buddy was like, dude, you had videos you used to consistently get anywhere from 7 to 10K on your videos, and you just stopped doing it for years. And I was like, I don't know. I guess, COVID, being home all the time, although I still work, but like you can't do anything else. So it's like, it made me, this is my hobby, like, and I want to come back to it.
What drives me crazy is the fact that when I decided to start putting up all my episodes and I realized almost all of them were up on YouTube already illegally.
Yeah.
As I'm going to these different people's channels and I'm seeing, wow, my episode has 1 million views. And it's like, that would have been nice if I was monetizing that,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of a bummer. And I tried to reach out to all those people and politely ask them to take them down. And they all did with the exception of one person that I couldn't get a hold of, because you can't actually message somebody through YouTube.
Not anymore.
So I tried to find match their name to Facebook, and I couldn't find this one person. So my only alternative was to put a copyright strike against it.
Yep.
And then that fan then reaches out to me and bitches me out, which I thought was really ballsy, by the way. It's like, you're really going to yell at me for wanting you to take down my video you illegally uploaded? You're really gonna really like go, bro, that wasn't cool, bro. You know what's not cool is me busting my ass and fucking doing all the work and you reaping the benefits. That's not cool.
No, fuck that. Yeah. And honestly, it's like, people, that was probably his claim to fame on YouTube. That's probably why. That video probably got him a ton of traffic. And when you were like, take it down, this is mine, this belongs to me. And he's like, oh, fuck you. Like, it's like, people are very, very entitled to things that aren't theirs. And I don't blame you for that copyright strike. I would have done the same thing. I mean, shit, but at least you had the decency to go to each person individually and be like, hey, I don't want to go through the monotonous process of this. Will you take it down?
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck that guy.
And I did say to him, because that same person, the one who was cool and took him down, the first person, because there was like two, really. I think three. But this other guy, he also had been uploading every bonus feature I think I've ever made, like from the Halloween 4, 5, and 6 making ofs, H2O making ofs, he's just ripping the Blu-rays and uploading them, Mm-hmm. So I said to the guy, I go, look, dude, even though that's my work, I don't care about that stuff. All I care about are my episodes that I own. I said the Halloween documentaries, if Scream Factory isn't coming after you, I don't care. It's not, just take my shit down,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool. You were talking about kills too, and like visiting the locations. First of all, I think that's an awesome idea if you were going to drop that the night of, because the traffic on that would be stupid.
That's why I was thinking of doing it. Right. I mean, if I drop it the night the movie opened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I guarantee you within days, you're going to see so many YouTubers going to those spots, because I should probably not say where they are.
No, you shouldn't. And you shouldn't. You deserve the right to do that. And I would do it too, because like you said, so many people are going to be like, okay, I got to go there. I got to be one of the first to do it. So if Sean Clark beats everybody to the punch, it's like, well, guess what? Your video gets caught down in the suggested. Mine's the first one. So
well, unfortunately, there's so many of these location dudes that literally take, like Adam the Woo and I talk about this quite a bit. they literally watch our videos and go out and copy them. Like they'll just like take it as a blueprint and they'll go make their own. And it's so frustrating because it's like very clear what they're doing. You know, it's like, I mean, Adam told me, he gave me a couple examples of like 2 really, really fucking obscure locations he did that weren't movie related. They were just kind of famous locations that nobody had ever found. And within 2 days of putting it up, another person did it. And he's just like, really, bro? Really?
Yeah. The only thing I took inspiration from you for one thing. And the one thing I took inspiration from you from was the I don't even know if you'd call it the pillar, the whatever it is where JLC sat.
Yeah.
With the pumpkin. I did the same thing you did. I rubbed it and I gave it a kiss. And Brooke was like, why did you do that? And I was like, because 15 years ago, I saw Sean Clark do that. I was like, I'm going to do that if I ever make it here.
Well, you know what? I don't have a problem with people doing that. It's just, it's when, and you can tell when a real fan makes a video that means something to them. And you can tell when a guy who's just trying to make a YouTube living makes a video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. It's like, if you're a fan with passion, absolutely go to those places, video yourself, put it up, do all that stuff. But if you're just a guy there looking for clicks, I can sniff that shit out so fast. You know?
Yeah, and you see some of these location guys, and I won't go into names either, but I see some of them, and it's like, what are you even doing? Because these locations are not your channel content. This is not your genre of movie that you like. You're literally just going here because it's popular to do it, and you just want to get traffic. And it's different. It's a kind of slap in the face to people like you and to fans like me, because going to those places was like incredible. Like I was on cloud 9. Like I'm halfway across the country, damn near fighting back teary eyes the whole time because I'm like, this is incredible. And some of these people just fucking go because they're like, well, I want to get clicks on my YouTube channel. And it's like, you don't even respect it, man. And it's so shitty because some people never get to see those places. And I never knew if I was ever going to get to see Halloween's locations. So, you know, but
dude, there's nothing worse though. The biggest heartbreak for me is finding a location and realizing it's been torn down. That's just like that it no longer exists. I mean, and then when you find out like how close you were, like the one I just put up a few months back when I finally found Alex Winter's house from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And it was like this big mystery. Nobody knew where it was. And and everybody thought it was in Arizona. It was the only location that they shot in LA. And I found it, and literally they tore it down like 2 years before. And, you know, and I mean, one thing that's cool is you can use the Google Earth and go back in time and look at, you know, and when you see it, it's like, there it was, man. There it is. And then you click to the next year, and then it's a lot. And then the next year, it's a house, you know, you're like, no.
And it's not, it can't be the same. Like, yeah, you're there, but you're like, it's not there, though. I'm just looking at the fucking lot. And like, I mean, I can't imagine what would have happened. It was Margrave that saw them about to tear it down, right? And stopped them. Yeah. I can't imagine had he not seen that, because I would have never visited the Myers house. You would have only seen it the one time, I believe, right? 94 is when you said it was around 94 when you went.
Well, it had already been moved. When I went there, where the house used to be, that whole block was an empty lot. They had torn down all those houses up to the hardware store. So it was all an empty lot. It was the first time I was there, and that was 94, I think. Yeah. So the house was already moved. I think they moved the house. Oh, what year did they move the house? I want to say it was like, I don't remember.
I thought I heard you talk about it in Horse Hollow Grounds once, and I thought it was like 90 or 91 or something like that.
I think I say it in the episode because David Margrave told me, but I haven't watched my episode in forever. You know, I don't remember.
But can you imagine had they torn that down? We would have never gotten to see it. You know, that shit sucks.
You know what he did? If you remember in the episode, he talks about how he bought it for $1, a silver dollar. That silver dollar that he had, he gave me. And so I have the silver dollar that, the one because apparently, I don't know, there was some significance to these silver dollars that he had, like that. I don't remember what it was, but he had it, and he said, and he goes, "Here, you can have it." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" Thanks.
So wait, did he not have to give anything for the house then? He was just able to take it because they were going to demolish it?
I don't think that's the actual silver dollar that he bought the house with. I think for some reason he had silver dollars, like he had a silver dollar collection of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah.
For some reason he had it, and he brought it out, and who knows? Maybe it was the one. I don't know.
Hey,
he's dead now. I can't ask him.
Okay, well, Sean, you own the Myers house now then, since you
exactly
that silver dollar. So have you ever been to the or seen the Myers house in North Carolina, the like replica?
No.
That thing is spot on. I've never seen it in person, but I've seen like the videos and pictures, and they do a Halloween party every year or something like that. I think that's really cool. And speaking of houses, I wanted to mention this when you talked about kills locations. I saw a guy go to the 2018 locations, did a video of it, and it's like 40 minutes long. And I love ones like that. Like, give me a lot. And they talked to the property owner of Lori's house, and they were able to get in there. Which I'm sure. Yeah. And you saw that it's still like charred black and everything from where they caught it. Like, I thought that was so cool. And there was a box upstairs with like prop stuff that was left behind. It was like supposed to be fake wire. It said like exterior house or whatever like that. I was like, dude, that is so fucking cool. Like, do you know how they did that? Did they actually I don't know how they do it in movies. I know there was real fire there. Did they actually set the foundation on fire, or do they have it to where it's like the house will catch on fire, but it's not going to burn the house down? Like, I don't know.
So what they usually use is they use like gas lines that shoot fire up, that make it, obviously it'll still char, but I don't know how they prevent it from fully catching fire. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but usually it's like gas lines that have, that run gas like through tubes, Yeah.
And I just thought it was cool because he said they just approached the property owner and they said, "Hey, can we fucking go on the property?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, sure." And I was like, "Well, fuck, I need to go to North Carolina then, because that's awesome." How much time did you spend on Kill set?
3 days.
Okay. And I never fucking, you've met John Carpenter, right?
Oh, I've interviewed him for almost every Blu-ray that we put out.
I thought I was remembering.
Almost every time you see him being interviewed for one of those Scream Factory releases, I'm the guy on the other side of the camera. What's your question? What's he like?
What's John like? Because I've heard from a lot.
Incredibly grumpy.
Yeah, I've heard he's he's grumpy, but not in like he's a dick kind of way. He's just kind of a grumpy guy. Like. You think he's grumpy? Okay.
He's grumpy. He's a grumpy dude. He's very, especially when it comes to talking about his work. If you're talking to him about anything else that's not his work, if you're talking to him about basketball or video games, he's very engaging. You talked about his work, it's like a wall goes up.
Yeah. So. I know that he made a is it just me, or like, is it a fact that he pretty much wants to be like, he doesn't want to be known as the Halloween guy? And I'm sure everyone, treats him as the Halloween guy. And that probably pissed the filmmaker off, because they're like, well, I've made a bunch of other movies. And I think that's why he kind of distanced himself from the franchise for so long. Yeah. And I know they wanted to bring him back for H2O, and he was going to do it, but the money wasn't right. So what do you think it was that got him back for 2018? Do you think it was JLC's involvement?
No, I mean, he didn't really do anything.
I saw him. He was on set, one day?
I don't think he was on set of Kills at all. He was on set. He was on set for one day on 2018. All he did was, they gave him a producing credit, I think. Did they? I don't remember. But I know he did the score. But other than that, he they show him the scripts and stuff, and he goes, "Yeah, great. Send me the check." I mean, that's pretty. I mean, he seems to have a new enthusiasm for the franchise now that he's making a lot of money off it again.
Yeah, well, I will say too, the score for 2018 is fucking killer. I mean, I want that vinyl. That thing is killer.
I agree. I own about 8 different versions of that vinyl.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, I'm with you.
Did you? I was going to ask you, do you have a personal like kind of relationship with Malik? Like, what are the Akkads like? Like, because Mustafa was such an icon, you know, for a lot of people. Like, what I know you never got to meet him, correct? Or did you?
No,
you did meet him, yeah, because he didn't pass to 05, so you did meet him. What was he like? He
was a sweet man. He was very fun, just a very jovial. You know. We interviewed him for the 25 years of terror. We had him at the 25th convention. He was a sweet guy. He was just, you know, oh, I love this Michael. You know, Michael will never die. You know, he always say. And you know, I mean, it was such a shock when him and his daughter were killed. I actually went to the service. They had this like. Sort of like a celebration of life thing at this theater by the Writers Guild. I met Malik way back then, and Malik and I have become pretty good friends. You know, we don't hang, you know, but I'm always involved in all these different projects. So I you know, and you know, we're about the same age, so we relate to each other. But like, it was funny. He called me like about a month ago, and out of the blue, and so he calls, and I'm like, I said, oh, so what's, because he starts talking like, how you been, blah blah, and we're just small talking. I go, so what's up? So why are you calling? And he goes, what, I can't just call you to like see how you are? And I'm like, oh shit. I go, you usually call if there's like a reason. And he's like, no, dude. He's like, I'm just checking on you and saying hi. I'm like, oh, thanks. And then and that's when he was like, actually, I want to send you a copy of the new book that David Gordon Green did. And so he sent me a signed copy. And I thought that was just really cool. You know, he's a good guy. I mean, you know, he's when the Halloween box set, which is back there.
Yeah.
When the Halloween box set was nominated for a Saturn Award, he called me and said, hey, we got nominated for Saturn Award for, you know, best Blu-ray release. He goes, I'll tell you what, he goes, if we win, he goes, I'm getting you an award. And cause you can, if you win, it's like, you know, you can, I don't know if Academy Awards the same way, but you can buy additional awards for the other people that were, you know. Okay. So, and I know they're not cheap. And he goes, dude, he goes, if anybody deserves this, he goes, if we win, he goes, you deserve it. He goes, you busted your ass on this release. Cause I did so much work on it. And I was like, wow. And we won. And he fucking came through. I got it right here. I mean,
I was going to say, you got to show it.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh, damn. That is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, sits on my desk right up here.
Now, did you do those Horse Hall of Grounds for that release specifically? So once you guys knew it was coming, did you go like for 4 and 5 and 6? Is that why you did it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because I had already done 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. And so when we were talking about new content, I said, look, I can do some more Horrors Hall of Grounds episodes. I said, Salt Lake City, I go spend a week there. We can do 4, 5, and 6, bang them out. And that's what we did. You know, obviously, since I made those episodes, other locations have been uncovered. I mean, I've even been back. I went back and, you know, we found the farmhouse, and fans have been there too. I went to the farmhouse, you know, probably 5 years ago. So, you know, I missed it by like that much, but I've considered doing my next trip. I'm going to go do updates on the spots I missed, because there's spots I missed from all 3 films. And even a couple I got wrong on part 6 a little bit from the opening stuff, the opening ceremony place. I had the right place. I had the wrong spots and some.
Well, I mean, isn't it all like dilapidated and shit now anyway? So it's hard.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing a horse? Well, you did say if you were going to do all of them, that would mean you'd have to travel to Canada as well, correct?
Yeah.
For Resurrection.
Yeah. There's not a lot to see. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's not a lot to see. from Resurrection, because the house was built on a soundstage.
Yeah.
But there are a few, there's the outside of the sanitarium, there's the motel. I think the outside of the one kid's house. I mean, there's not a lot. It would be a very short episode, but to be a completist, I mean, H2O is one I've been planning on.
I was going to ask you about that one, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I went there to the gates to that estate, and I could not get in. So what is that something you would have to set up ahead of time to where you're like, get in touch with someone, hey, I'm going to be there. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then they would let you tour it. Yeah.
Well, they actually, you can stay there. Like Airbnb kind of vibe. Like you can rent a room, but it's insanely expensive. My buddy Robert Patterson did it, and I went there. Stupidly, I didn't film. I just took tons of photos. So I did it, but now I'm like, I want to shoot an episode, so I want to go back. And I was looking into getting a room, and they have a two-day minimum. You have to stay at least 2 days. So it ends up, I think the cheapest room was like $2,000 for 2 days. Yeah. So
are you gonna do it?
I was ready to do it, and then they shut it down because of COVID. Like they had it opened, but then they shut it down, and now I hear the place is on the market. And I called and I asked them about that, and they were like, we don't know about that. I said, well, are you guys gonna open it back up to rent rooms? Because I want to come stay. And they're like, oh, we don't know yet. So I don't know.
Well, I think it was Halloween Movies that reported that, like, hey, the estate is for sale. And I was like, and it's like $19 million or something is what it's worth. But I mean, it was like the only thing that I could get of that location was I put my phone in through one opening in the gate like this, and you can see the buildings of like the what would have been the dorms and the houses like on campus. And it looks the same, like same color, same everything. So I was like, I can tell that's that, but the actual estate, like where the pool is and where Scream 3's finale was filmed, I think that's further down there. You actually have to get into the gates to drive to that. So that was kind of a bummer. I didn't get to see that, but I mean,
I went through all of that shit. I went through the whole place. We took pictures of everything, but I regret all these crazy places I've been to. I didn't film. I was always, I mean, every once in a while I would film. Like, I wasn't going to do a Devil's Rejects episode, but I was the first guy that found Captain Spaulding's house, and I got inside, and I did shoot a little bit of footage on my old iPhone. So I was thinking maybe I should put it up because nobody's ever gotten in there to my knowledge.
Were you with Woo on that video? I remember watching that. No, you weren't. I saw Woo's video of that.
But he didn't go in. He didn't go in.
No, he didn't go in. No. I remember that. Yes. Have you uploaded a video of that?
No. I have it.
One you're sitting on, working on? Okay.
Well, I was just trying to decide if I should just put that little bit up. Because I was like, do I want to do a full Devil's Rejects episode? I'm like, I kind of don't. I mean, maybe, but I was like, you know what? The only thing anybody'd be interested is seeing that footage. And I was like, maybe I should just put that footage up. Is it
still pretty much the same? Like, is it recognizable?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it still had the fucking bed and everything in there. I mean, it looked like somebody was still living there, but it had like an inch of dirt on everything. It was so disgusting. When we got inside, I was really like legit. We were like legit scared we were going to get shot. Like there could be somebody in here with it was scary. It was scary. But the reason I know I was the first person to ever find it and go inside was because hanging on the wall in the kitchen, taped to the wall, was a piece of paper that said Tiki Palms Motel. And I was like, what that was the name of the motel in the movie. And I flipped it over, and it was the sides from that day. It was basically the script page for what scene they were shooting that day. And I was like, well, if a Devil's Rejects fan had been in here, they absolutely would have taken this.
Oh yeah.
And of course I took it. So
it's abandoned now?
Yeah, it's an abandoned house. Yeah,
Wow.
I think they put a fence around it now. There wasn't a fence when I was there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they shoot in House of Thousand Corpses? Isn't that house in Universal Lot or some shit like that? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Okay.
the house from House of Thousand Corpses is the best little whorehouse in Texas house. So when you're on the tour and they say, this is the house from Dolly Parton and Sylvester Stallone's movie, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. It's like, and it's the Firefly house from House of Thousand Corpses.
Yeah. Yep.
But then the Firefly house in Devil's Rejects was on Sable Ranch, which is a studio ranch, which is also off limits. And it was also the same house used in Leatherface Chainsaw 3. Same house.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Were you able to get in there or no?
I've seen it. I actually was on set for Devil's Rejects. When I was a journalist, I did a set visit to Sable Ranch and interviewed the cast. Actually, my interviews are in that documentary, the 30 whatever days of hell.
Days of Hell or something like that. Yeah.
When you see them being interviewed outside, I'm the guy interviewing them, but they cut me out of it. You're just getting their reactions.
Okay.
But we visited the set when they were shooting in the Ken Foray's little whorehouse town, like Charlie's, whatever it was called, Charlie's Fun Town or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. So I was there for that. So I got to see all that, which was cool. But see, that's the thing. That set burned down. The house made it through the fires. The town thing burned down. So
wow, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you too, and I know that Rob has intentionally distanced himself from the franchise and the fan base a lot after Halloween 2's backlash. And also, did you know too? Has he ever taken part in any kind of convention? Have you ever met him?
Oh yeah, no, he knows me. We know each other. He did a convention. He did a Fangoria Weekend of Horrors to promote House of Thousand Corpses. He was there for that. He did another Fangoria convention, I think, to promote Devil's Rejects, and he'd do San Diego Comic-Con. But he's never done like a regular convention, sit down, charge to sign kind of thing. But he did a signing at that first Fangoria. In fact, it was him, Bill Moseley, Karen Black, Sid Haig, and Sherry, all in full costume. They signed, and I was there. I met them. They all signed that weekend.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I know he distanced himself, and I get it, but I'd like to meet him. I don't know what kind of guy he is. I've heard conflicting things.
You know, he's always been really nice to me. I mean, I was on set of his first film quite a bit.
Yeah.
First Halloween.
You're seen a lot, and I don't know if it's a lot, but you're seen in that documentary, that 4.5 hour documentary. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I believe no, maybe it's not a lot.
There is one shot that I know you can see me in.
Yeah, which one are you thinking of?
But I don't think anybody would recognize me. I know it's me. It's because I'm silhouetted. But there's a scene where they're shooting the shot where Tyler Mane busts through the window and pulls Lori out of the car.
Yeah.
If you look in the background, I'm standing there watching. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then maybe I've got it wrong. Then I knew that because I knew you had said before in maybe previous interviews or whatever that you had spent time on set for that movie. And I could have sworn in that documentary, I was like, I feel like I saw Sean somewhere.
You might have seen pictures I posted of me on set, and maybe you're mixing that up.
Yeah, maybe that is it. But yeah, I mean, how was that? I mean, I know it was a remake, sacrilegious, whatever. But
no, dude, that was magical, man, because it was the first time I was ever on a Halloween set, and I'm watching Michael Myers walking down the street. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I was so pumped. I was so pumped. Yeah. And I went to set probably, maybe 6-7 times. I mean,
now were you doing it for work or were you just for pleasure?
No, Malik invited me to come. I asked him if I could come watch, and he invited me officially one night where I was there and I was really on set, and I took pictures on set. You know, I couldn't take pictures of certain things, obviously, but then I was privy to the website where every day they were posting the schedule and where the location was. So every day I would go to it and go, ooh, I should go. And I would just drive there, park, because if it was outside, it's public. You can stand on the sidewalk and watch, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I heard that Rob, because I was a journalist at the time, and Rob knew me as a journalist because I'd interviewed him multiple times. And I heard he was getting annoyed by me being there because he thought I was trying to get scoops, but I wasn't. I was literally there because I was a fan and I was excited. So I never scooped anything he did. I didn't want to spoil anything. Plus, I had a relationship with Malik, and Malik would be pissed if I spoiled something, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Did you have did you inquire at all about H2, like going on set or anything like that?
The funny thing is, I knew they were filming in Georgia, and I was, again, the exact same website. It was I wasn't invited to that one, but I was just like, I wonder if they're using that website again. And it wasn't password protected, which was the crazy part. So I just went to it and I looked it up and I go, holy shit, there it is. Boom. Every day I would just go and I would download it. That's the other thing for me to do the H2 episode I'm going to do. I have fucking detailed maps of every shot pretty much, you know?
That's going to make your life so much easier.
Yeah. I mean, I've already mapped it out, and there was a guy who did an H2 video and he missed some stuff. And I think he even got something wrong, but you know, whatever, he tried. It's, you know, he did a pretty good job. Anyway, I was like, fuck, it's on the complete other side of the US, you know, and to go all that way and not be invited.
Yeah,
I was like, you know, I mean, I could have asked Malik maybe, but I was like, I was so busy. I was working my ass off, and I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time to do it. I mean, like when they did 2018, I was literally out of the country the entire month they shot the movie. I couldn't go.
Yeah,
I was in Australia for 2 weeks, and then I was on a cruise, a Walking Dead cruise that went to like the Bahamas, and I was gone. And by the time I got back, they had wrapped. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of got the vibe anyway that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of got the vibe that Malik and Trankis and Dimension and stuff weren't really happy with Rob during production of H2. And there was a lot of tension between all parties.
I don't know. Well, I know Malik was having issues with Dimension. Rob was having issues with Dimension. It was a lot of them having issues with the Weinsteins, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think Rob and Malik butted heads a lot, but
because Malik has said in an interview, like, I let Rob make Halloween 2 his movie. Like, I gave him pretty much blessing, do whatever you want to do. And then, but I know Rob said he said in an interview once, he made like an 8-hour documentary, like 8 hours of footage on set. It was going to be like even bigger than his Halloween one. And the Weinstein Company was like, no fucking way do you let that come out, because I guess there was a bunch that could probably be seen and heard throughout that of him going back and forth with the Weinsteins and complaining, bitching, whatever it may be. And they're like, no, you're not doing that. So Rob said that footage still exists, but he doesn't know if it'll ever see the light of day, which is kind of a bummer, because I'd like to see the dysfunction that was that film's production.
Well, that's what makes a good documentary, is the conflict. Yeah. And unfortunately, since it was a Dimension production, I'm sure they own that footage. So the only way it would probably ever get out there would be if it somehow leaked out, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and
somebody in Dimension. Yeah.
You know, and if like say a guy like Sean Clark got a hold of it and he put it on his YouTube channel.
Well, wouldn't that be a bummer, man? Well, I tell you what, everybody that I've talked to about it, even if they don't like that movie, they want to see that, because what we saw with Rob's first documentary, that was the first. I know it's not the first of its kind, but the first one I had seen that was like a documentary from pre-production all the way to its premiere. I had never seen anything like that.
Those documentaries that he does for those releases are phenomenal. I love them because I'm a big fan of the process. And I would love, I'll be honest with you. I didn't care for the 2007 Halloween when it first came out. There was things I liked about it. But after watching the documentary, it gives you a whole nother appreciation of what he was trying to do. And you get in his head a little more and you're like, oh, okay. And it made me like the movie a lot more. I think the same thing would happen with Halloween too, Yeah.
And
even
with
though,
Halloween, go ahead.
It was, even though it's technically my least favorite film in the franchise. And it's not, it's because I think I take it a little personal, because I feel like he was attacking the fans in a way, and he was attacking the journalists that didn't like his movie. And I was a journalist at the time. And so, because he put specific things in there to piss people off.
Yeah, it almost seemed like there was definitely nods in that movie of, oh, this is what you expect from Halloween and Michael Myers. Well, fuck your expectations. I definitely get that vibe there, and it being in that line of work that you are, I don't blame you for taking that first line. What are you trying to say, dude?
Loomis's rant against journalists, it was clearly he wrote that. That was him ranting against journalists. Yeah. Fans complaining that there was too many F-bombs in the movie, and he has Richard Brake's character say fuck like 30 times in a row. Yeah. People complaining about the use of the song Love Hurts, and he puts it in again and makes it the finale or whatever.
Oh, and then the taking out all the Halloween score till the very end. No score. And people actually, I think, probably celebrating that Sherry wasn't going to be in it. And then he goes, well, guess what? She is, Yeah. So it's funny because I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think sometimes Rob gives her shitty roles. This
is what I've said about Rob. And I absolutely respect Rob Zombie as an artist. I envy him. I wish I could be what he is, a writer, director, musician. I am technically all those things, but just not famous. You know what I mean? And what he's achieved is nothing but respect. Nothing but respect. I envy the guy for sure. But I think his weakness, if he has a weakness, it's his screenwriting. And I think he's a phenomenal director, visual artist, director. I would love to see him make a really good screenplay. I would love to see him take somebody's amazing screenplay and see what he does with it. Because at the end of the day, I always walk away from his stuff going, it had the Rob Zombie dialogue, it's like, and the thing is, writers don't hear themselves like that. They don't, you don't hear, you're writing what but it may not sound like that to you, but to everybody else watching it, it sounds like that. It's like, so I don't know.
That's the thing is, I've always said it, as much as I like some of his movies, and he has some really bad ones too, but as much as I like some of them, if he had somebody else write the script and he shot the movie, this guy could end up being like a truly landmark filmmaker. You never know, because like you said, visually, he can tell a story with a camera nobody's business. He is.
And artistically, his vision artistically, he's got amazing ideas of visuals and set dressing. You watch those documentaries, he's in there painting himself and stuff. Yep. He gets his hands dirty,
you can tell he's kind of a control freak in that way. And I think you should be if you're a director.
Well, that's the problem. That is the problem. He is a control freak. Hence, he probably will never direct someone else's script.
Yeah. Yeah, so I get it. It's a bummer. I still hold out hope, but I don't know what he's been up to. I was interested to see that Blob remake that was announced years ago that he was going to do, and then never came to fruition. I know he went back and did 3 from Hell, but the fact that Sid Haig died like a week into shooting was like, well, we've already started doing it, so we might as well. But it just wasn't the same. It could have been better with. It would have been better with.
That's not exactly what happened. What happened was, Sid was supposed to be in the whole movie, and he had been really sick. Everybody knew he was on his way out. And what happened was you have to get insurance when you film. You know, you have to get an insurance policy, and the insurance companies would not insure him because of his condition. Like, they wouldn't allow it. So basically, Rob was forced to rewrite the script and add Richard Brake's character, and he actually went in and kind of stole the shots of him in the jail with Sid. Like, they did that kind of on the down low, uninsured and everything, just to get him in the movie. But he wanted him in the movie, but they wouldn't allow him to do it. And
that's such a bummer. Do you know what he passed away from? Did he have cancer or something?
It was cancer. I'm just trying to remember because I remember when I first heard he was sick, somebody close to him told me he had stage 4. It was a death sentence. We knew and dude, for the last 2 years, I saw him on the convention circuit. I was like, this is probably the last time I'm going to see him. And I thought that for like 2 years, he looked so bad. He was getting really thin, and then he was getting mad because people kept asking about his health because he looked so bad. And and then he would lie online that he was fine, and how disrespectful it was for people just to judge his appearance. But he really was dying. I mean, I don't know why he got so, I don't know if he didn't want people mourning him. I don't think, some people want that in their life. Some people want people to you want to feel sorry for yourself and want people to do that. He apparently was the kind of guy that did not want that. Yeah. He didn't want to hear like, oh man, Yeah. He just
like save your sympathies for somebody else, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what was he like? Did you like him as a guy?
Yeah. He was, I've known him for years through the convention circuit. I wouldn't say we were tight. We had a few dinners together with the groups of people. He was always nice. There was always a standoffishness about him that it was like, I always felt like there was a little wall I could never get through with him. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just didn't like me. That's very possible. He may not, it's a thing, in this business, especially in the world I'm in, when you're dealing with celebrities and you have the agents and I don't represent you, there can sometimes be like this, why don't you represent me, or you wouldn't want to represent me? And I've had somebody that you would know very well that I don't work with actually corner me one time in a green room and just go, why have you never asked to work with me? And was like super offended by it, but like, it was like, dude, I've known him forever. And he's like, do we have a problem? And I go, no, dude. I said, you're like in every show every weekend. I don't think you need my help. You book yourself. Yeah. That's what I told him. I said, dude, straight up, you seem to be doing fine, Now,
correct me if I'm wrong. You represent, or is Danielle Harris a client?
Danielle has been a client forever, but she's also one of those people who's kind of like, most of my clients are exclusive. In this business, perception is everything. And I try to frame this for the actors when I try to explain the exclusivity and what it means. It's like, just like if you have a theatrical agent, if you're going out for a film, say there's this script out there and you want to do this movie, you have your agent try to get you the part, right? But you don't have 10 different agents trying to get you the part, to the point where the production person's like, yeah, we've already passed on her like 8 times. It makes you look bad. It makes you look desperate, right? So it's the same thing with conventions. If you don't have an exclusive person who's your guy or a girl, then you have 10 different agents calling a promoter and saying, hey, would you like Danielle Harris for your convention? And be like, yeah, you're the 8th guy that's called. It makes that person look desperate. So I personally think it's a bad look, but there are clients I have, a very small handful of them, that are not exclusive. And she's one of those people that she'll work with if you bring her if you bring her a good enough deal, she'll work with most anybody.
Yeah, and I was looking at her website. She offers some like really cool stuff, and I know she is on the convention circuit like fucking crazy, like no one's business. And I love that about Danielle. It's like she's never, at least from, I don't know her personally, I know you do, but she's always seemed like the type of person that is so welcoming to the fan bases of any franchise she's been in. And it's crazy too for being, from the stories she's talked about on camera of stalkers and stuff like that, and like still being willing to go do these things and stuff. Like she just seems like a really down to earth, genuine person. Like, I don't know, are you guys, would you consider yourselves good friends?
I mean, I don't like to make more of, I mean, we're definitely know each other very, very well. I mean, she starred in my movie too, Black Waters of Echo's Pond. I mean, so we really work together. But I mean, we don't hang out. I mean, we purely have a business relationship. I mean, but I would, if somebody said, "Are you friends with Danielle Harris?" I'd say, "Oh yeah, for sure." Yeah, but are we like buddies? Like, we don't, even at the conventions, she's not somebody that I would go out to dinner with. Not that I wouldn't. I'm just saying we don't hang in the same circles, really.
Yeah. Hey, Willie, stop. Thanks. There's one person, I believe she attended. If I'm remembering correctly, I think she attended at least the 30th anniversary, or maybe it was 35 that she did, that I've always wanted to be, Scout Taylor Compton. Have you met her? Was she actually at the convention? Oh, another call. Was she actually at that convention, or am I remembering incorrectly?
I think she was at the 30th, 35th, and 40th. I think she was at all of them. Yeah, I know Scout really well. Yeah. I mean, I would say we're friends. I mean, I have a phone number. I could call her right now if I want to, but again, we don't hang, but yeah, she's awesome. I like Scout a lot. I think Scout's a really cool chick. I mean, I think Danielle's a cool chick too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying
to the vibe that you did.
I'm just, actually all three of the Christina Klebe, I worked with her for a little while too. And we're friends as well. She's another one who's kind of a free agent, kind of works with whomever. They're all cool. I liked all of them. I mean,
that's awesome. I mean, it's cool to hear too, because I know you're an honest dude. So you're not going to bullshit me. Like, it's just nice to hear that people that you've watched for years or whatever, or that you admire, are actually decent human beings and not total pieces of shit. And I know, you would tell me off the record if someone was a piece of shit. So like, no, this was not edited, guys. He actually means that. They're good people. So, but all right, that's awesome, man. I've always envied your line of work, and I know you probably are like, why would you envy this? Like, sometimes I'm so up to my fucking eyeballs and stuff. Like, and I'm sure there are times where you're stressed like that, but
no, dude, so cool. I absolutely appreciate like where I'm at and what I've done. Like, and the, I know a lot of people think that I probably have gotten jaded or whatever. And, to an extent you do get jaded, but no, believe me, I step back quite often and think about where I was. And like when I had a desk job, 9 to 5, living paycheck to paycheck, versus now where I'm my own boss, and I've carved my own path, and it's all connected to the things I love, which is horror and films and music. And I mean, dude, when people like you tell me like, bro, because I get this a lot, dude, you got my dream job. And it's like, wow, it's like when you hear that, you just go, fuck, man. Yeah, I do. Got it pretty fucking good, don't I? I gotta like knock on wood, it's like,
but at the same time, you work to get where you are, it's not like you were just handed this shit. No, so it's like,
I absolutely busted my fucking ass, and I still do. I'm a workaholic. If there's anything that ruined my first marriage, it's the fact that I'm a workaholic. It drove my ex-wife crazy. Like, you're always working. I'm like, because I'm a perfectionist and I get obsessed and I get fucking focused on something. It's like, it's like it's something as simple as packing these goddamn, see those some packages back there?
Yeah.
The stuff for the auction I did the other night. Dude, I stayed up until I fucking couldn't see straight packaging things because I want to get them done. I don't want to go to bed and lay there thinking about it. I want to get it done, so I get focused and I hone in and I get motivated, and it's like, there's nothing more motivating than working for yourself, knowing that the accomplishment is going to be yours, and that's satisfying, that's, that gratification of the accomplishment,
Mm-hmm. And it's it just, oh no, go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to the post office today.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool, dude. I told you I didn't mind. I'll go in the morning. It's no big deal.
I just wanted to say too, like, if anybody watching this wants to know if Sean Clark is actually a guy that doesn't hold himself to some super high standard and looks down on us like peasants, like the fact that he spent like 2.5 hours with me to go on my YouTube video for free. Like
what?
Yeah.
Wait, wait.
My bad. I didn't tell you.
Free?
No, I was like, I had to buy Zoom Pro in order to record, and I was telling Brooke, I was like, I guess I'll just consider this like paying for Sean for Sean to be on. But
well, hopefully you use it more now.
I will now. But it's just I know you probably hear this a lot, and I know I said it a lot, but it really does mean the world because I've always been a fan of yours since I was young, and like knowing that you've taken the time throughout the years to message me on Facebook, whether it be me messaging you randomly in the middle of the night saying, "Oh, I saw you in Tales of Halloween. Like I totally saw your cameo." Or whether it be asking about 40 Years of Terror, or then, you coming on the channel just to help me broaden my audience. But first and foremost, to help me like get to know you as a person, like get the chance to just talk to you and pick your brain. I mean, it really does mean the world because I think, as you said, you have a kick-ass job and you're just a really good dude. And I just thought that I would be able to ham it out with you and just, look at us. We've been running for God knows how long because the conversation just flows. And I hope I didn't come across as like a shitty interviewer or whatever.
No, dude. No. You're good. You're actually you're good at you're well spoken. You got a good voice. You got a good presence. I actually think you keep at it. You're gonna go far with it. I really do. I'm not just blowing smoke.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's there's this one YouTuber I watch his. I'm not gonna say who he is, but there's this one YouTuber I watch his videos. I'm not gonna say what the content is because I don't want to give away. But I really love his content, but I fucking can't stand his voice as he talks like this. And he's got this voice, and it's like, hey, and it's like, oh my God, this voice, his stuff is so good, and I want to watch it because I like the content, and I watch it, but every time I hear him, I'm just like, my God, dude. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because like that's the thing that you always get hung up on. Is like, and by the way, I've made the investments into buying a boom mic and a ring light stand, so the audio is going to get better. That's the one thing I need to work on, but. Yeah, that means a lot, man. Yeah, there you go. So like, I don't know. I think it means a lot to me that you even subscribe to me and that you took the time to be in our stream the other night too. I was like, holy shit, Sean's in here. Like, what the fuck? And Justin was like, oh, hey, Sean, like, cause he's a big Halloween fan. So and then you stayed and you like kept giving your input. And I was like, that's so cool. He didn't just pop in for a minute and be like, oh, I'm here, bye. Like, that was awesome. And
it's funny is like I don't subscribe to too many channels, and the ones I do, when they pop up in my feed, I'll pop them on, I'll start watching, and like you guys were, I was into the discussion, like you're going to each Halloween film, and I was sitting there packaging shit. So I'm sitting there packaging, and I'd hear you say something, then I'd go, I got to comment on that. And then I'd go back to packaging, and then Halloween
5 sucks. You didn't say that, but
no, I was like, I think I typed it at one point and then I deleted it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell him when we're on the show together. I'll just tell him, I go, bro.
Yeah. No, I knew you weren't a fan. I've heard you talk about it before. I knew you weren't a fan, but I was like, I was thinking to myself too. I was like, dude, when we get to Halloween 2, Sean is going to be like, I'm unsubscribing to this fucking guy. Like, I was like, oh God. But
you know what? I tell you what, I loved the opening. I loved the brutal hospital scene. But when he fucking pulled the rug out and it's like, it's a dream.
That is
like,
shitty
God
too.
damn it.
And that's another example of a way where he kind of said, oh, hey, fans, you know, like it was a little bit like, oh, Halloween 2, 1981? Nah, I just wanted to fuck with you. Like, yeah, that was kind of shitty because it's like, I mean, at least the movie kept the same tone and that brutality and whatnot. But like, I would have liked that setting too, personally. Like I would not have disliked that. I just remember seeing it in the theater and I'm like, holy shit, it's going to be a remake of Halloween 2. And then I was like, wait, what the fuck? So, you know, but anybody watching, if you have not already subscribed to Sean's channel, he is Malfunct Sean. We'll plug it right here. You'll be able to click it, subscribe to him. Awesome content. He said he's working on 12 Four Solid Ground videos over the next few months, whatever it may be.
I've got at least that many in the works. And I'm editing a few right now. I still got some locations to go hit up on a few. I've got the 4 I'm doing in Georgia, which I'm sure people can guess at least what one of the other ones is. If you're familiar with filming locations in Georgia, it's not Walking Dead. I'm not doing Walking Dead.
Yeah, no, I figured.
I don't really do TV series because
TV series seem harder too because there's
so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested. Like I remember when I was in Toronto, I visited a bunch of the Hannibal locations because I love that series. But to do a whole video, man, and try and being a completist, man, that's tough, you know? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and also the thing with Two Heads with Chris Nelson, I mean, they have like, they both work off of each other really well. It's funny. It's enjoyable. Like I remember at one point, I think the last episode you guys did, you said something and it was near the beginning of it. You were talking about how you guys were going to go for another 2 hours or whatever. And Chris was like, what? 2 more hours? Like, what the fuck? And I'm like,
yeah.
But it doesn't feel like that when you're watching it because you guys have really good conversations. So you guys should check that out too. I mean, everybody watching this knows who the hell Sean Clark is. There no more needs to be said about him. But Sean, dude, I seriously, like, I'm forever indebted to you taking the time to talk to me tonight. And I'm sorry to make it to the post office.
That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Yeah, you know, anytime you want to have me back, let me know. You know, we can, maybe after Kills comes out and we can chat about it or something. I can tell you, I can finally start talking about it.
Yes, because I want to hear about like you can tell me like I was there for this scene. I saw this shit happen. I knew this shit was going to happen before you guys knew. Like I would love that kind of introspective conversation. I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah, no, I'll probably break all that down. If I go back and I shoot my video, I'll probably go, so the night I was there, this is where I was, blah, 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 you know, all this stuff. But, you know, that was so much fun. I had it was cool because I think the first night I was there was some really good shit going on. And then the second night, Andy was off and Dylan was off and James Jude Courtney was off. They had the night off. They were shooting some other stuff. And so I went to dinner with all them. We went and had dinner at the school. It was like me, Andy, Dylan, James Jude Courtney, and James's girlfriend, Sarah. The 5 of us went and had dinner. And it was just, you know, it was just so cool, man. I just had such a good time. And then while I was there, I went around to all the Blue Velvet filming locations. I'll probably do a Blue Velvet episode while I'm there too. Might as well.
Oh yeah, might as well.
It was so cool. I mean,
do you plan to venture back over there for Ends when Ends is shooting?
Yeah. Well, I absolutely want to, but with all the COVID restrictions, I don't know, you know, if they're going to be super tight. Because like right now, they'd probably be super tight. But by the time they shoot it, maybe things will be loosened up.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I talked to Chris about it, and he was like, "Dude," he goes, you know, you just come, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, it's you know, every production's different, man. I mean, I probably shouldn't say who it was or what, but I went and visited a set about a month ago, as I had to go see one of my clients who was filming something, and I had to drop off something to him, and he needed to sign something for some stuff. Long story, but anyway, I had heard all these crazy stories about how hardcore they are and testing everybody. Dude, I literally like strolled through. Nobody said shit to me. Went right to his trailer. I mean, like they had. I went to a gate and they took my temperature at the gate, and I said, I'm here to see so and so. They just gave me a wristband, and not one person questioned me. And I'm like, what if I had COVID? I could have just rolled right in here and fucked up this whole production. But whatever. And then while I was in his trailer, somebody came in and gave him a COVID test while I was in his trailer. And as soon as that person left, I said, hey, bro, should you have them give me one too? Yeah. And he's like, fuck no, dude. Don't even mention it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. I actually have, I've never gotten the nasal swab COVID test. Never.
I haven't either.
And I'm you're 2 days away from your second dose. So then it's basically like, all right, well, you don't have to worry about it. I'm 4 days away. So it's
I was told that if you had COVID at some point and you got the vaccine, that you definitely get sick.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. And I have a buddy that was sick with it in the winter, and he got Pfizer round 2 and he was on his ass for like 2-3 days. So
I'll find out in 2 days if I'm going to be fucked up or not.
Yeah, you'll find out in 2 days if you had COVID or not. And you didn't know about it. So yeah.
Well, I actually have to have a minor because I'm 50. And this is what happens. This is what happens. So I actually went to the doctor today and they set it up. And so I have the date set. And they told me that I have to get a COVID test right before. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, man. Even after you've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
Man, that fucking sucks. Well, I've heard it sucks. So, and some people are like, it's not that bad. It's going to be annoying. I mean, they go way up there. So.
Yeah. And I don't like that.
Yeah. And it's so many, my brother is weird. He's like, well, I don't want to get the vaccine. I said, why? He's like, I don't like needles. I was like, seriously, that's your whole reason. He's like, well, if I have to get one, I'll get one. But like, I don't like needles. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I swear.
Dude, who does like needles?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like them. And I'm not looking forward to Monday because I know myself and I'm like, dude, I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to wake up Monday night, middle of the night with a fever. I'm going to have to call off work Tuesday. I just know it's going to happen. Like
I'm dreading it too. I'm dreading it.
Because I hate fevers, I hate fatigue, body aches, all that shit. And I just know I'm going to wake up and I'm going to feel that way and it's just going to suck. But
I hope it doesn't last long because I got tickets to Disneyland like a couple days later. So
yeah, well, hopefully, from what everybody says, 12 to 24 hours is usually the length of it. So you should be fine. But fingers crossed you don't feel like shit at all. Because, that'd be nice. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on, and don't worry, I'll give it some time. I don't want to oversaturate, but I will definitely reach out to you again to try to see if I can get you on for a talk because a lot of my buddies too are big fans of yours, and I would like if maybe like my buddy Christian for Christian Handle Horror. I know he's a fan. I know Justin's a fan. I would love to maybe one day, hey, here's a panel, man. Like talk to Sean, like how ask him questions.
Or if you want to do a live and let people ask questions, I'm fine with that too. I mean, I'm fine with that. I just gotta watch what I say.
Yeah, well, no, I would love to do a live, and I'm totally cool with that. The only reason I didn't do it for the first one is because I wanted to have an intro, and I wanted to promo it a little bit because in our circle you're a big deal. So I want to kind of promo and be like, hey guys, here's a reason to come to my fucking channel. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wanted to give you the respect that I feel you deserve. So, yes, yeah. Check out Horse Hollow Grounds, guys. Check it out. Kicks ass. And I'm waiting on that Rob Zombie's Halloween episode for sure. Definitely waiting on that. So, all right, man.
I'm gonna say that like every 5 minutes in the episode.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Just don't mention any, just don't retread any dialogue from the first half hour of that movie and we'll be good. As long as you just say, yeah, we'll be good. But I really appreciate you, man. And I hope you have a great, great year, great week, and I wish you good health and good luck, man. And I appreciate
Thanks, man.
you.
I hope to see you at Whorehound in September if you make it out.
I absolutely will be. Just if you get that lineup and I haven't seen it yet, if you could just forward that to me on Facebook and say, hey man, here's the lineup, and I know you wanted to see it. Yeah, I will definitely be. I have no reason not to go. So, do you know? Is it in September? You said.
Yeah.
Beginning or end of September target? Do you know?
I think the weekend of 17th. I think.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine because the next weekend I'm going to Hawaii on my honeymoon.
17th to the 19th.
Cool, sweet. I'll be able to make it then. So, I'll be there and see you there and be like, hey, thanks for being on the channel, Sean. I made it.
My pleasure.
I kept my word. So, hey, I appreciate it, man. And we'll be in touch. Okay.
All right. Take care.
See you, man.
See ya.